Hi everyone!
Yasha!
Welcome! Welcome everyone to TOYCON
Ano
TV's
tayo?
episode
Oo nga eh.
19, Esports, The Rise of the Cyber Warriors. I am Lizette, the production manager for Anime Alliance and programs manager for TOYCON PH. Well, for those of you who don't know what TOYCON TV is, this is your weekly catch up with the local toy community and fandoms that love everything about toys, collections, and hobbies. It's also a way to keep with the ToyCon community together despite the physical distance. And this is brought to you by ToyCon, the event that brings collectors together for nearly 2 decades now. So for tonight's episode, this is a continuation of last week's episode where we talk about basically anything about gaming. But I guess this will be a very good episode for you guys who are into e-games and or esports because we are bringing in people who are part of the esports arena. So we have mobile games, consoles, and now, yeah, that's esports. We're gonna touch up on people that makes an impact on the esports arena. So before we bring in our guests joining me tonight in this gamer-fied episode of Toycon TV,
Gamer fight.
let
Papalit ko na
me
yan.
introduce these two people up here. This guy right here is Michael Ramos. So everybody, this is Michael Ramos. There.
Yay!
And my other co-host, thank you for stepping in last minute.
Yun ba
It's
yun?
Alan.
Yo, what's up guys? Me Alan, Event Operations Supervisor for Anime Alliance Philippines, Volunteer Staff Supervisor for TOYCON PH Operation. Ang haba.
Yes.
Nakapulol.
Sanay ka na.
Oo
Hi
nga eh.
guys, I am Michael, Operations Manager for Anime Alliance Philippines and Floor Director for TOYCON PH. Yeah. So,
Floor director.
yeah, manager.
Floor manager. Nagmamanage ng floors.
Naghuhugas ng floor. Anyway,
Mm.
just to touch up on everyone, no, for everyone's knowledge, the reason we have Alan right here, right now with us, is because he is an avid gamer, and his insights for tonight's episode would be very, very helpful for us to actually get to know more about how esports are happening. Yeah, so his expertise will be much needed because he is more of a gamer than me and Lizette combined.
Yep.
Ay, hindi naman. Saktuhan lang naman. Ito naman dalawang. So, pinapalaki niyo yung ulo ko kasing laki na ng ulo ni Jollibee. Ito naman. Kapisngi na nga rin ni Jollibee. Oh.
I see that our guests tonight are actually big in the gaming industry then, and if I'm not mistaken, they're also Valorant players then. Well, most of them are Valorant players. So if you guys are playing Valorant, then this is like one of the things that FPS shooters, and they play a lot more on esports than if I'm not mistaken. And one of them is also the organizer then of ESGS. Yeah.
Yes, yes. Ang laki. Wow. Ang
Yes.
laki.
Alam niyo na kung gaano kalaki itong episode nito.
Last year I was at ESGS kasi. So I've seen the progress of ESGS before, and saludo ako sa ESGS. Yeah. It's
Kumbaga,
sabi ko
diba,
nga,
I can only say, sorry,
Mhm.
just to cut you short, I can only say that ESGS is in the same caliber of TOYCON. So like,
I
TOYCON's
was
pop
about to say that.
culture.
I was about to say that. You took it away
There's
from
my
me.
stick. There's my stick alive.
Thank you.
Sobrang same caliber
Oo.
talaga sila. As
So,
in,
So why don't we start bringing in our guests for
Sige
tonight? Ayan na, magkakabahan na naman si Alan.
ano ba? Ako na ba ulit? Okay.
Energy,
So, our
energy.
first-
Dito tayo,
energy dito.
Yeah.
Okay, our first guest is an esport and gaming event organizer primarily known for organizing ESGS. Kakasabi nga lang kanina, di ba? Kasing laki siya ng TOYCON. So, it's sobrang big din ng ESGS. Pag sa gaming scene naman ang datingan. It's my honor to introduce the one and the only,
Akala ko may dagdag pa yun. The one and only.
the one and only, the superstar megastar,
Ah,
powerful, wow. Sir Joebert Yu!
Yeah!
Yeah!
Hello. Nahiya ako dun sa introduction.
Dinagdagan ng
Ano ako dun. Pero yeah, good evening everyone. Thank you for having me, Micah, Alan, and Lizette. Thank you for having me here sa
Awesome.
TOYCON show.
How are you? How are you so far?
Actually, kanina before yung kanina nagpapatulog ng bata. Pero yeah. But yeah, okay naman, okay na. Kala ko nga magigising, but yeah, nandun na rin wife ko. So far so good naman. Taking it day by day.
Okay. Sige.
Yes.
So let's discuss more later, no? Let's talk about later
Mm.
about ESGS. I know ESGS
Sure.
is not probably happening
Yeah.
this year because of the pandemic, pero we'll talk more about how ESGS is and like a lot your experience in the esports arena, no?
Ah.
Yan, sige. So
Yes.
thank you.
Thank you.
Our next guest.
Yeah.
Ano ba yung next guest natin? This guy is half Zerg and half project manager. Yes, you heard it right. Half Zerg daw siya. A Sage main. I think from Valorant yung term na yun. No? Yeah, let's
Sage, yes.
give him a gamer-fied welcome. Judes Lopez. Yeah.
Yo!
Hi.
안녕하세요. 안녕하세요.
안녕.
듀티
안녕. Anyo.
Hello. Dude.
Bakit half Zerg?
Dude, I've been playing as Zerg to StarCraft half of my life.
Really?
And I've
Talagang
been-
nag-focus on that?
dude, I
Talaga?
love it,
Yeah.
yeah.
From StarCraft
So-
to Zerg ka lang talaga.
Yeah.
Oh
Well,
my
I played other races, pero nakakatawa yan kasi a lot of the things you do sa StarCraft, you also do in project management. So parang naging isa na lang sila. Kaya ayun, half Zerg, half project management.
So dapat pala intro ko sa sarili ko kanina, half Terran, half operations.
Pwede rin. Oo.
Ako Protoss.
Half floor, half manager.
Oh, Protoss Pro. My God.
Ano lumalabas ko si Protoss.
Kaboom.
Oh my
Pero
God.
nakakamiss to. Good old days yung pinag-uusapan.
Naman.
Kasi I did a little bit of competitive gaming with StarCraft nung kabataan ko. Wow, tanda ko na.
Mabibiso tayo lahat dito.
Alright, Seth.
Okay. Our next guest is a mobile MOBA coach and an esports enthusiast. And also a hard-struck gold in Valorant. So guys, mga Valorant people, I guess you need to watch out for this guy. Let's give him a round of applause, Rafael Albert.
Yoo! Yeah.
Hello.
Hi, Rafael.
Good evening to everyone.
Good
I've seen your
evening.
picture before that. Were you part of the Philippine team then at SEA Games? Or
Yes, I was the coach for
oh,
Arena Val.
sige, wow.
And
AOV.
Galing.
Mm.
Yes.
Galing. So, kasi nakita ko yung profile picture niya and then I saw like on the background, I was like, oh my God, he was part of the Philippine team then pala. So, yes. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for bringing
Oh,
Thanks for having me.
for carrying our flag. Diba?
Oh,
yes.
yeah.
Naka-proud kaya yun, sipin mo flag na ng Philippines yung
Oo.
nire-represent mo. Kahit tumbling ba yan o tumbang preso eh. Kahit anong game pa yan.
Uy, pero
Diba?
ito ibang level kasi esports. So,
Esports
iba
din.
level, bago siya eh. So, to coach a team ng gano'n, parang wow.
Wow, ang
Sige,
taas.
Alan.
Ako na pala ulit.
It's all you.
Last.
ka.
Last
Okay,
but not
sorry,
the least. And he's the Exodia of League of Legends Pro Scene. Let's please welcome Cedrick Santos. Ayan.
Yay!
Wow! Hello. Pero,
Hello.
Teka, may
Hello.
ano lang ako, may singit ako. Bakit Exodia? Why Exodia?
Kasi 'di ba sa League of Legends may 5 roles siya. So top lane, jungle, mid lane, carry and support. So yung history nun is lahat ng role is binigay sa akin, which is very unique sa pro player. Kasi
Okay.
ako yung nagpi-feel sa team namin. Kung ano yung kulang, doon ako mapupunta.
Kunyari may
So-
lagnat yung isa, wala yung sa bottom lane nyo, ikaw mag-bottom lane ka ngayon. Doon ka.
parang
Grabe.
more on
Napaka ano mo. Parang
Versatile.
sobrang
Versatile.
lahat
That's
kanya.
the
Wow.
proper term.
Kaya tinawag
Galing.
ako sa Garena na Exodia na pro player.
Ah,
Kasi 'di ba, Exodia
wow.
may 5 parts siya.
Oo.
yeah.
Galing sobra. Bihira 'yon, sa totoo lang, bihira.
Oo.
Yeah, that's hard.
Oh, bihira 'yon. Bihira
So-
yung magganyan.
For tonight, these these are our panel, our guests for tonight. We have Sir Joebert, Judes, Rafael, and Cedrick, who will be discussing more about esports and the esports arena rin, no? And how people actually interact or react to esports then, no? Kasi wala akong script dun sa part na yun eh. So
Oo nga, oo
lang,
nga.
di ba?
Ay, sorry. Dahil yung syempre, gusto, pasok din nun muna natin dahil medyo napapanahon ng Valorant ngayon at alam ko naman itong mga players na to.
Mhm.
Valorant sila. As far as we know, isa dito Sage main. How about si Cedric and si Raf?
Lahat ba kayong apat nagba-Valorant or si
I don't
ako,
play FPS games.
ako hindi, sorry.
Hindi ako magaling mag-FPS
Yeah.
games.
Hindi ko magaling
Ay,
mag-FPS.
Well, hindi naman ako magaling eh, but for fun.
Yeah.
Pang mobile
Pang-
talaga eh.
Bang bang.
Oo.
Pinipilit ako maglaro ng Valorant pero wala eh. Wala. Mabagaling kamay.
I have my own different opinion to Valorant kasi they asked me to play it. I was like, no. Pero
Wow.
that's a different discussion.
Pero parang ang parang napaka-firm mo dun sa no.
Like, kasi like I don't know if a lot of the viewers would side with me, no, pero kasi I feel like Valorant doesn't have the image. I mean, they're trying hard to be parang Fortnite na Call of Duty na they're in between of everything else eh, and they just mashed it up into something na pero that's just me.
I do agree with you there, actually, to an extent. Yeah, I do agree with you there. For me, it's like a mix of CSGO and Overwatch.
Yes,
It has a arcade
CSGO and
feeling.
Overwatch, basically.
Yeah, that
Honestly, I sort of agree. Pero I think I see it more as a middle point ng ibang games kasi for some, CSGO is super hardcore, hindi na sila makapasok.
Yes.
And then on the other hand, Overwatch is too casual. So parang nasa gitna yung Valorant.
It's in between.
yeah, exactly.
In between.
So for
Actually,
me,
there's
I feel like it's just trying to get its identity right now. Pero I mean, kasi since I'm so infused to actually playing Call of Duty right now, so parang I can't
Yeah, man, that's
steer
fair.
myself away from Call of Duty. Ayun, yun lang.
may kumakalat nga na memes on the internet na yun nga, pinagsama Overwatch at the same as CSGO at meron pang dinagdag ng Call of Duty tapos si Professor Oak ng Powerpuff Girls, sinahalo niya yung yun, tapos may tumapon daw na Chemical X tapos tada, Valorant. Yun yung lumabas, Valorant daw.
Alright, so Zet, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sure we can talk about Valorant, but I'm guessing people are here to watch.
Yeah. Right.
Tama.
So, Sir Chola, Sir Az, next episode natin, Valorant.
So, pakinote na lang po. But, I guess we have to go to our presentations. Like, I think Sir Joebert would be very, would give us a rundown through memory lane.
Memory lane.
Oh, memory lane talaga. Memory lane.
Medyo konti. We were talking last night. Tapos meron siyang mga I'm pretty sure meron part din the golden years of esports. So,
pero, teka wait. Bago natin ibigay kay Sir Joebert. Remind ko lang sa lahat again, ito naman, this time around, matutuwa kayo kasi since gaming night nga, we're giving away some prizes later based doon sa pag-uusapan.
Yes.
Ito, yung discussion right now. Nasabi mo rin, Mike, na meron kang ipapamigay. Kel na lang, sige. Kel, meron kang ipapaambon para matuwa ang mga nanonood ng gamified episode natin ngayon.
Just like last episode, we're giving away today, tonight. See, I keep on messing that up. We'll be giving away not one, not two, but four.
Nice.
This time around, it's four Logitech G102 gaming mouse to our trivia winners for tonight. On top of everything else, no. And if you have any questions for our guests, just leave it on the comment section. I'm actually in charge tonight for actually viewing the comments para hindi namin mawala kayo. And then we will have our guests answer your questions during the panel. Yeah.
And any question will do, di ba? Like, kunyari may girlfriend na ba sila? May gano'n.
So, actually, tinatanong na nga kanina, ano raw skincare mo, Raf?
Oh, wow.
Wow.
The tips.
Yeah. So ano raw yung skincare
Nothing.
tips mo? So later on we'll probably touch up on that, 'di ba? Syempre. And anything
Mhm.
under the sun or the moon for you guys, 'di ba?
Mhm.
And so without further ado, let's get on to Sir Jobber.
Okay.
Yep.
Sir
Pala una.
Jobber, the floor is
Good luck.
yours.
Okay, so I'll see the picture ba or
Yeah, yeah.
okay.
Um,
So yeah, okay, yeah, there. Okay, so the first slide that you'll see is these are the events that I organize. So I had the dream before of organizing gaming events. Before it was Cyber Cafe, and now we've reached like North EDSA, Trinoma, uh, the Glorieta, and this one is sa World Trade Center and sa MOA. So that's parang the dream before organizing events. And kumbaga parang I was able to do this with the support of different companies. So this is a particular event called PGF or Pinoy Gaming Festival. So this is where the first event that I started doing it. So yeah, so those are some of the areas that we've organized. So next slide. Okay. So after PGF, as sinabi kanina ng mga host natin na I started doing other events or event brands. And one of those event brands is called ESGS or the Electronic Sports and Gaming Summit. So it's basically your parang I wanted to do an event where it's similar to those international events like E3, Gamescom, Tokyo Game Show, and for in the first years of ESGS, mga ang binibuild ng mga companies are small booths, but as the year goes by, um, biglang as you can see from these pictures, these are mga massive booths that it takes more than 1 days para ma-set up. But yun nga, kumbaga parang people who are going to these international events, we were able to successfully, with of course the help of the brands, different brands, like the pictures that you're seeing now, hardware companies. So they're able to build their own ideal or creative designs dun sa event namin. So yeah, so these are some of the hardware brands that were that kind of like build their booths sa ESGS. So next slide. So as I was saying before, that was one of the dreams nga is for companies to build their big booths. The other factor then is of course we try to get international gaming companies. As I said, we wanted ESGS to be like the E3 or the Gamescom or the Tokyo Game Show in the Philippines. And through the years of ESGS, it started with companies like Sony PlayStation, like Ubisoft, and Bandai. Now, as you can see here, we have companies like Capcom, and nung last year, Nintendo Switch had a big debut, and companies like Kojima Production. So that was kind of like the dream na instead of people going to different countries to go to this to go see these booths, we were able to kind of like um, get these companies to go to Philippines and build their booths and showcase their latest titles, which we were very very happy, and hopefully it continues in the future ESGS. So next slide. So okay, so this one's kind of like very very memorable. This is one of those big events that I went to, or esport events. It's called the World Cyber Games or WCG. It's one of the longest esport events in the world. Unfortunately, medyo nag-die down siya after 2013, but it came back in 2019 last year. So it's very memorable kasi this was the highest medal for the Philippine contingent. So we have the picture here of the Crossfire team, which had competed against China. As you can see doon sa picture below, it's like it's home court advantage kasi the event happened in Kunshan, China. So this is this one below is the culmination of the Crossfire finals in 2013 between Team Philippines and Team China. And kami with a little bit of the Philippine contingent, we were in the very front. We're very lucky na sa harap kami kasi pag nandun kami sa crowd, nako, sobrang madugo. So it's very memorable kasi nga this is one of the probably the first biggest esport event that I went to, and I've seen, as you can see, the massive crowd, Chinese crowds against our Team Philippines. Unfortunately, they didn't win, but it was a very good series. Very close, very close. But yeah, I'm proud of our Crossfire team. They got the silver medal for WCG, and yeah, it's very memorable sa akin, this one. Okay, and the last slide. Yeah, and of course, last year SEA Games, I was part of the people who kind of like organize and build up the SEA Games along with notable people. So me and my partner, Mr. Alvin Juban, he's the venue manager. I'm the competition manager. So we were one of the few people who made the SEA Games esports. And actually here, sa loob-loob namin, basta mapagana lang namin, smooth, no problem, and siguro secondary, for me secondary na yung medal, but of course you want to your own country to win, di ba? Pero since I'm part of that committee there, or part of that officials, we can't be biased as much as we want to cheer. But yun nga, the main thing it's on my mind is all the countries are satisfied with the organizing, the rules, the tournament. Walang nagreklamo, everything was and so far so good. And yeah, we the last on the right side we had a picture of all the countries involved there. We were very unified, and they were very the other countries were very satisfied with not only because they didn't some of them won, so some of them didn't win any medal, but it's more like a success for all countries in Southeast Asia, because this was one of the first esport medal round that happened in the SEA Games. And right now we're hoping that the SEA Games in esport will continue the trend to next year, Vietnam. So there.
Galing.
Oh, nice.
Actually, when you were presenting and then you were saying about ESGS, I remember way back when you were gonna start ESGS before, we were meeting in di ba si Kat, you and me, I think, and with Toto, we were meeting in a small cafe lang tayo, Thomas Morato.
Yeah, that was the old company that I work for. Actually, it's called SMM actually. Yeah, dun sa may Timog, sa Timog.
Timog pala,
so,
Timog, sorry.
Medyo ang daming since when I started ESGS, medyo ang daming hardships. So, daming but yeah, siguro yun nga, ang daming hardships nung time na first. Guys, I would say yeah.
You guys have gone a long way, from the first one. I've seen the first one, and then kasi since I'm in the US, I couldn't like go back and forth to actually go for ESGS. Pero last year I had the opportunity to actually see ESGS, and the changes and the progression of the event has actually flourished na parang it could be comparable na to the gaming cons that I see here in the US. Kasi I've been to PAX East, and like you have separate stages for each of your presenters and gaming companies. So ganun yung setup kasi here in the US. So So when I saw that, I was like, oh my god, he's actually making it a dream come true in the Philippines to actually have a gaming an esports arena for a lot of gamers. Yun. So parang sabi ko, ang ganda, ang galing, galing. Yeah.
Sobra.
So yeah. I mean, if not for the companies that supported us, of course, siguro the big boot started siguro I would say nung 2016, 2017. Actually, gina-joke ko nga yung Sony people kasi sabi ko kasalanan nila eh. Kasi they had this yung 2007, yung 2016 kasi that's the first time parang Sony kind of like made something na yung first time na Final Fantasy 15 game, Call of Duty game and NBA. And then when people saw that, parang medyo nanibago kasi I remember the time when mga game events or some of the events, usually mga booths before parang may banner sa likod, tapos table, tapos yun na, ganun na siya. And then nung 2017 when Sony made yung sobrang how do you say this? A total of 12 games. Tapos parang, yun na nga, doon napaisip yung mga ibang companies na parang, pwede pala namin gawin to sa Philippines or tipong ano. So I would probably, gina-joke ko nga si Sony, kasalanan nyo yan kaya itong mga boots na to. Yun na.
Yeah,
then,
pabunggahan na sila.
Pabunggahan na, pagandahan na. So,
may mga second floor pa sila.
May second floor pa, yeah. So
bayad ka na ng renta, tulog ka na doon.
Yeah, so na ano lang din, and then yun nga siguro nakatulong din yung ingress setup time kasi one of the most important of course in for this boots to be is the setup time. Our setup time is like more than 48 hours actually. We give them like from Monday until until Thursday actually. So ano na sila, except nung last year medyo kasi nag-testing kami about doing it 4 days although business day yung but we're trying to and yun nga I'm very very thankful for the companies, the brands that join in and at least believe in this kind like ideal where it's a neutral environment. There's no parang everyone has the same equal branding from our side of course. But of course whatever they want to do on their space, yun na, as you can see. So I'm very very thankful for those companies that supported us. So yeah.
Marami mga nami-miss na ESGS. So we're expecting it to come back.
Actually we're sa totoo lang we're still discussing it. Not our plan supposedly kasi we receive a lot of messages this obviously of course with the pandemic we're it's expected what will happen, but regarding if there will be like maybe a mini version, online version, so we're still discussing, but we'll make an announcement within the next 2 weeks for that one.
So
you
heard it directly from the organizer.
Aabangan namin yan. Abangers kami.
Camping.
Excited ako doon. Oh my God. CSGS yun. Game for game. Di ba?
Yan lang. So yeah.
Alright, Zet.
Okay. So from Sir Joebert, let's move on to our next guest who will give us sort of a perspective naman on what actually goes down when organizing esports games or events. So with no further ado, let's bring in our next guest, si Judes.
The Sage Mage.
What's up?
Oh,
hello.
You will not die.
Okay. You will not kill my alalay.
Ice wall muna tapos resu.
Are you gonna bring us down memory lane then with StarCraft?
Yes, actually. Not just StarCraft, pero a lot of it kasi. Where's the PowerPoint?
Ayan, sige. So,
okay. So anyway, I started like most of the people in esports because we all know esports is a really young industry. A lot of the people who are working on it now are comparatively to other industries are very young. This is because a lot of them grew up literally with the industry. Lahat kami, we started out as players, we started out as a community. A big thought in the esports space is that ang esports, they should be games, but the community decides if it's an esports, right? So I was one of those people starting it out as a a player in the space and meeting up with friends and going to activities, mostly nakikita nyo sa screen from sa Mineski Infinity. And then one of those days, we were just hanging out, and we were talking about the game. Someone saw me, someone from Mineski, and then he invited me. Hey, do you want to cast for our tournaments? And I said, yeah, sure. So next slide. What happened next after I was asked that question? I became part of the Mineski team. Naging content creator ako at the start. I was doing streams, I was writing articles, I was casting StarCraft 2, Overwatch, and eventually Heroes of the Storm. Basically, all the Blizzard stuff. I ended up casting all of those. And at the time, sobrang liit pa lang ng team na yan. They were just some kids who had the same passion into gaming. It may be different games, pero we were all super hyped na we can do this. We can organize like events from having a shoestring budget. I believe dumating pa kami sa time na ang TF namin is like pandesal and juice. And then nag-evolve siya, naging Zagu, and then naging Jollibee. It was super rough at that time, but it was just full of people na super passionate about their stuff. And then it evolved into something bigger. I remember yung defining moment ng pagsabog ng esports, or at least gaming convention sa Philippines, yung time na we were having an event and we didn't have a host. 3 days before the event, I was asked, Judes, di ba caster ka? And this was the exact words. Judes, di ba caster ka? Host mo naman yung event, oh. I was like, yeah, sure, I guess. I don't know what I'm gonna do. Just talk on stage, right? And sure enough, doon nagsimula yung pagka-sasalita ko sa stage. I became a host because a lot of people in the industry know me as a project manager, but I think nakalimutan na I was once a talent. So, next slide. For a few years, I ended up becoming a host on events, a lot of different events. Fun fact, for the first 3 to 4 years, I think, ng PGF, I was the main host. I was going around talking to people. I ended up hosting some fun stuff, as you can see. And while we were having these events, I was noticing people from the backstage. They were like super hardworking, right? Kasi at the time, hindi pa naman super big in teams. So everybody needed some help. We help out. Even if you are talent back then, sometimes we would help set up the computers. You'd be there in the morning before you practice your scripts. Actually, wala pang scripts nun eh. So the spills, and then you help build the computers, you help set up the tables and the chairs. And I realized na parang, hey, we need more people doing this. Right? And personally, honestly, I don't think I handle like being known too well, good enough. Kasi like people keep coming to me and they're asking me, hey, idol, do you remember me? I'm like, no, I'm sorry. So, decide ako na parang we need more people helping on the back end. So, that's what I'm gonna do. So, what happened then was I transitioned from becoming less of a host or a content creator or a caster, kasi people were coming in na naman, we were developing a lot of talents, into more of the project side. So next slide. After then, I've worked with a lot of wonderful people, and we've created some of the most amazing projects. Again, ESGS and PGF notwithstanding. And like from then on, it's like just a whirlwind. From being on the stage, naging napunta ako sa back end, I was helping organize stuff, which really helped kasi at the early stages of the esports cycle of the gaming and the event stuff. I was one of the people who were there. I knew what needed to be done. So I got to help a lot of people over the years. These are some of the projects that I've done. I was one of the people behind TPGL. One of the biggest projects I've handled was actually MPL. As you can see, 2 pictures there. And one of the things pala na hindi ko na mention is recently pala, the last thing I actually casted was the SEA Games. I was there. I casted StarCraft 2. But for the most part these days, I've just been managing projects. Kasi over the years, I think I've developed a knack for it na. And again, we have developed a ton of really good talents in the Philippine space. Actually, it's international na eh. So from my end, I'm happy here dito sa likod to help people along, and I'm kind of enjoying the fact na hindi ako masyado kilala, to be honest. I guess that's me. That's my story for now. Ayun. Sorry, it was really quick, right?
Ang quick naman nun.
Oo nga.
Okay,
Actually,
it was super quick.
Actually, like now that I'm hearing your voice and you're saying that you were a caster before, no, parang
You remember him na? You
Yes,
remember
I
his
do,
voice
I do,
na?
I do. And then all of a sudden, nag-click din sa akin, wow, talagang pang caster yung bosses niya.
Sample.
No, I haven't like casted anything. Ay, wala na akong alam eh. I'm just,
Sige, like
I don't know.
StarCraft days.
Mag-intro ka or something.
Oo.
Kunyari may nag-clash lang ng Zergen yung Protoss.
Wala na akong practice eh.
Binasag ng ni-rush ng Zerglings yung
Coming in from the middle, the Zerglings are going to the base. Unfortunately, the supply depots are blocking it. Roach is coming up super late. This Protoss is gonna go down very quickly.
Wow.
Actually, commentators like that are commentating a game is so difficult.
Yes.
People think it's easy because pero you need to have the knowledge of the game.
Yeah.
Yes.
You have to understand the game. That's the first
You have to
thing.
understand the game, and then
You have to know all the characters. And their
Exactly.
special-
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
yeah, kasi
The skill.
diba? Kasi sometimes you would have, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, you would have to predict what's gonna happen or
Yeah.
Yes.
to actually hype up the viewers.
It's safe to assume na commentators natin, they can see a minute or two into the future.
Of
Kasi,
Oo,
of what you're seeing on screen, they know what's gonna happen in the next 1 to 2 minutes because they've read the signs. They're like prophets, and they have to prepare what they're gonna say. So when it pops up, they can say it. It's a very challenging line of work, and again, I appreciate yung super galing na talents natin na have grown. I think si Kaisaya nasa chat eh. Hello Kaisaya. And again, ang ganda ng turnout ng talents ng Philippines. We have so many talents, so many content creators, which is why I feel safe na I'm just gonna go back and organize it from the sidelines.
Ang sabi ni Jello Adra, ang cute mo raw dati.
Oh, wow. Oh, Jello. Oh, Jello, hanggang ngayon cute ka pa rin.
Bye.
Oh, wow.
Pero diba, like, if you're a shoutcaster, that means you could have played StarCraft, diba? Kasi you know the game. But what other games did you play ng aside from
actually, StarCraft was my main game, right? But I played a lot of, mostly, it's safe to say I played all of the Blizzard games. I played, StarCraft. I casted Overwatch. Then I was a pro player sa Heroes of the Storm at one point. I represented the Philippines or something. And then, it's Warcraft and I guess WoW eventually. Pero I was being pushed to cast actually the mobile game, the ARTS, the MOBA games before, like League of Legends and Dota, and I'm like, dude, what? You have to memorize 300 characters and 5 skills per character, so that's what 1,000 skills, and then your interactions. Then I'm like, no, I'll just be in my war game. It's easier to think.
Yeah.
Meron pang mga passive skill na dagdag.
Oh, yeah, right?
Diba, tapos you have to be up to date din sa mga
when there's new
talaga.
updates that goes for the game, you're supposed to actually so not only that, so I guess you're also gaming it yourself so that you could actually have
You have to practice. Actually, a lot of the players are very big brained. Kasi the fact that you have to understand all these things, and actually a lot of the people who are saying na, madali ang Mobile Legends kasi sa mobile lang siya. No, it's not. You still have to understand the game itself.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
ang ano kasi ang major uh, comparison ko between esports and physical sports is that they're both sports, right?
Mm.
Mhm.
Pero esports is more on brain power.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's
Mind game.
the physical components still exist because a lot of the really good like physical a lot of the really good players need to train their hands, need to
For
train their
reflex.
eyes
Yes.
to react really fast, and alam nyo na mahirap yan, especially when you're playing first person shooters.
Sobra.
So
Oh my god.
it's still a
Anyway.
part of it, right? Pero the brain, big brain, you have to understand, oh, this hero, pag ito yung pinik nila, I have to pick this counter pick kasi yung skills
Yes.
niya, the synergy, super big brain.
Plus the
And
items
it's,
that actually help your skill.
right,
Yung mga ganun.
Yeah.
Plus, I
Yeah.
think it yeah, aside from the interaction between those characters, how well does your character play with your teammates' characters then? So it's a whole
yes.
different dynamic pa.
Yes.
There's a ton of like factors, which is why I love like games so much. Kasi
Mm-mm.
there's the huge challenge that you have to overcome. That's the main theme. That's the main theme of games, I think, is that all of the games have a challenge that they present to you, and you have to overcome it. And yung feeling na ino-overcome mo siya, it's
Mm-mm.
so rewarding, honestly. Na and it's like, I don't know, finishing a book, except you can't read the book if you can't answer a math problem. And
Yeah.
some of these things, they're like a math problem. If I cast mana burn at 50% mana, will he have enough HP to survive, or should I wait? So
Mm.
it's a huge thing that people like don't think about too much.
Exactly.
Mm.
Yeah. And so speaking of dynamics, so thanks Judes for the presentation, and we'll talk more later, definitely.
Yeah, sure.
But speaking of dynamics, no, let's talk about the dynamics of coaching a team. And for that, we're going to be bringing in Rafael. Yeah,
Yep.
Rafael. Hi.
Hello, hello, hi,
Hi,
hi.
Raf.
Hi.
Hello, hello, hello,
Yes.
hello,
Yan
hello.
na. So,
Hello.
tawag dito, kamusta skincare mo? Yun na kagad.
Oo,
Skincare
pwede
mo.
ba
Yun na
unahin?
kagad eh.
No, pero let's just connect Jude's well, the dynamics nga, 'di ba?
Mhm.
So, in your part, yung how do you like choose people to bring in a team, or do you what actual process do you undergo or do they undergo?
To like find like is like in-game
Yeah.
heroes. Yeah.
No,
Actually.
when you form a team or when you coach a
Since
team,
nag-coach,
what do you look
Oh,
at?
okay, okay. Actually, like I really wanted to join in like the discussion with Judes kanina. Parang I felt like I had a lot to
relate
say
na
also,
relate
but
na,
yeah,
relate na
I
relate
relate
na.
to it. Well, usually, like honestly, when you're coaching in mobile, the skill ceiling is a lot lower compared to PC games. Just because in mobile, there's usually 3 or 4 buttons on the right
Mm.
side and one button on the left, and then you have
Yeah.
two
You
buttons
have
up there.
smaller limitation.
While on the PC, you have a whole keyboard plus a mouse of things to interact with. Okay,
Mhm.
so with that being said, what you're really looking for in mobile gamers is someone that's really like. I think the synergy is a lot plays a big role in it. How the team interacts with each other is very very important. Just
Mm-mm.
because the skill ceiling is a lot lower. It's a lot less about finding the fakers and RTZs and Sumails of the game, and more about creating a solid team that work well with each other and to create plays and basically work well with each other. Yeah.
Mm.
And so, well, without further ado, we'll leave the floor to you to explain more about your experience in the esports arena, and then we'll come back and actually like tackle some questions with you. Okay?
Sure, sure. Okay. Yeah, so actually I'm going to share my personal voyage of how I became a coach. So I really just started out as a casual gamer. I would play all sorts of gaming genres. Um, I like to say you name it, I've played it. You know, the RTS, the level up games, the shooters, the fighting games. I've played all of those growing up, but what really stuck with me were the MOBAs. Um, so I would play Dota and LoL mainly before, but then about like 5 years ago, I decided to start playing mobile games just because it's a lot more convenient for me. So at that time, it was only ML. ML was the only mobile that was available, which I played a lot and I loved it. And then I shifted to Arena of Valor when that was released. And I was really just a casual gamer. I didn't have any friends in AOV. All of my like gaming friends were in either ML, Dota, or LoL. So I was just playing AOV alone, and I thought I could get better. I wanted to get better, so I would watch some like of the pro players stream, just like looking at them play, trying to like somewhat uh, imitate what they're doing. And I realized really like when I watched them play that hey, I could like play as well as this guy, or I could like match the skills or the skill set of this guy. I definitely felt confident I could reach that caliber, and so I just started playing like really a lot. And over time, I met some players, just like played a solo game, and then they added me. Uh, and I met some players online, and then we decided to compete in some tournaments. And yeah, in this picture, like these are one of the first friends that I've made playing Arena of Valor. And even though this is like years ago, they are still my friends up to today. Um, so next slide. So my first like big tournament was in the PPGL. My first time to play on like an on-site LAN with like high stakes was the PPGL under Team Kimochi. Yes, Coach. So I lost my train of thought, Marty. Oh my gosh. Okay, yeah. So I played under Team Kimochi with some of my friends, and I played mid lane at that time. And I just wanted to share. I couldn't find a picture of like the team, unfortunately, but I remember this game because this is my first game on in the a big stage and stuff. And I got 2 kills right away. Like in the first like 2 minutes, I got 2 kills, and it was at that moment I realized like, oh shoot, I'm gonna have to carry this game. I'm gonna have to play well so my team wins. And I started shaking. I was really nervous. Like I was really like shaking, and I had the nervous reaction. Yeah. So unfortunately, we didn't win, and I think it was there in this tournament that I really realized that if you want to play better or if you want to win tournaments, this is actually a tip for everyone. You need to have better like playmaking. It's not really about like the carrying. It's more about just like shot calling and organizing a team to do things together. And that's why from mid lane, I decided to play support. Next slide. So I formed a team with a few players I met online, and we were Kidlat Esports. And here, instead of playing mid, I would play support. And honestly, I felt like I had a lot more success playing support. And besides being a support player, I was also somewhat like the analyst slash coach of the team. So I would be the one to like review the replays and figure out what to do, what to pick, etc., etc. So parang this is also where I developed like how to coach as well, you could say. Yeah, and then so I think moving on, like I had a lot more success as a support, and I guess the AOV community somewhat recognized me as like a analyst slash coach, and I was actually asked to coach for Team Liab in the Arena of Valor International Championships, and I was also like later on asked to be the head coach for the Sea Games in Seaball's Arena of Valor team. So this is a picture of me in Thailand during the international championships, and it was my first time to be in the booth, but as a coach. So if you watch like um, other tournaments, the guy behind the players with a book, it was my first time to experience that. And it was really a different experience, honestly. Next image. Next slide, sorry. So after the international championships, we kind of like it was more or less the same time as the SEA Games. The AIC, the Arena of Valor International Championships, was a few months before the SEA Games, and I was coaching with these players from like August to December. So that for about 5 months, we really grinded it out and poured like all our efforts into AOV basically. And this image actually is in the our training facility in the Bren HQ. And we were fortunate to get a Taiwanese coach as well. And the funny thing was that when we got this Taiwanese coach, he could only speak Chinese. And so we requested a translator that was somewhat young and had like gaming knowledge of some sort. And the funny thing was we got Miss Wanda, who had no like gaming knowledge whatsoever. And so we had to kind of like teach her like what are minions, what's the jungle, what are the lanes. So we kind of like also taught her in the process like what's a MOBA basically. Next slide. Unfortunately, like this is the picture of during the SEA Games. This is in the LIA boot camp. Unfortunately, during the SEA Games, we didn't place. The AOV team didn't place, and it was a hard loss, honestly, for us. It sucked really. It was like a 5 month grind of really focusing on AOV and just thinking about the game all the time and so forth, and we failed. Yeah, so honestly, I was extremely burnt out from that. So I started this year taking a break from all of this. And so I took the whole January and half of February off, just chilled. And I decided to like come back. And I saw that Marvel Super Wars was on the rise. You know, it was getting kind of popular. A lot of players, a lot of new teams, and they were looking for coaches. So I decided to try it out. And I began coaching One Snap Esports. Sorry, next slide. Yeah, so I decided I began coaching One Snap Esports, and this is in the Airbnb boot camp that we had for one of the tournaments before. But this is like my only one and only picture with them because yun nga, the pandemic, so we can't see each other. But up to today, actually, I've been working with these players to play well, and I'm proud to say that the team I'm coaching is consistently placing in tournaments and is one of the best teams in the Marvel Super Wars scene. So yeah, that's my story.
So you've really had your ups and downs, no?
Yeah.
Oo,
Yeah.
dami. As in, ang hirap, ang dami niyang kinoach na games.
Mm-mm.
Sobra.
It's
From Arena of Valor, tapos yung parang yung latest mo is yung Marvel.
Marvel Super
Ah,
Wars.
paano yung style ng gameplay nung Marvel Super ano?
It's similar to League of Legends. You have the
Hmm.
top lane tank, mid lane mage, bottom and support duo, jungler. Very League of Legends y with the last hitting mechanics.
mhm.
I see, I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
Except you're using the Marvel characters. You know, you have Iron Man and Black Widow, Thor, Captain America, etc., etc. So it has a nice. It adds that extra. You know.
Pop culture-ish.
Pop culture, yes. Yes, oo nga
Yeah.
naman. Tama
Nagulat
ka.
ako doon sa team mo no, no, Team Kimochi.
Sabi ko,
Yeah, yeah.
Ano ako doon eh. I was taken aback. I was like, wow, Team Kimochi.
It was.
Oo nga eh.
I didn't really care about the name, honestly. I was like, you guys pick it, and then they picked it, and I was like, whatever. Like,
I think it's
fine.
really safe to say that a lot of gamers are actually inclined with anime then, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken.
Mm.
Considering the name of the team, Team Kimochi, di ba? Pero
Yes.
it's ano no, like you para kang sabi ko nga sa chat no, para si Robert Jaworski, you're like the playing coach din kasi
Yeah.
you analyze and you.
Mm.
So basically when what you were doing in Thailand, you were in a booth. You weren't playing at all. You were just like
No.
right behind them.
Yeah, when I coached for Liab and for the SEA Games, I did not play anymore. I was
Okay.
like full on coaching, and
Mhm.
actually, like when you're watching your own games versus you're watching like a team play,
Yeah.
you're like there it's different then. Like it's really like you're separate from the experience and you can provide like a more objective view on
Mhm.
like
Mm-mm.
the game. Kasi may parang bias
Mm.
pa rin eh, if you're part of the game, you'll say like, I didn't do that wrong. So parang
Mm-mm.
that there is that element to it. So it's really like important to like
Do you get the feeling now when you're coaching, di ba? For example, you're coaching them and then you tell them this pero hindi nila nagawa, para bang you'd have the feeling, oh my God, if that was me, I would have done it like swiftly. You
I
get
think I
you get
actually like honestly like since I haven't like because I've been kind of like focusing on coaching since like last year. I
Mm-hmm.
my skill level just like I feel so bad already. Like I can't play as
Because
well
you're
anymore.
more of the thinker
Yeah,
now.
because I don't really play as much as I used to. I watch a lot more now.
oh,
Mm-mm.
okay.
Yeah, so like maybe before, maybe, but like I can't show it anymore. Like,
It's really more of just guiding the players on what to
yes,
do on
Mm.
the spot. So that does that include like tactics wherein like if you, syempre, di ba, in the beginning of the game you have a game plan and it doesn't work,
hmm
Yeah, yeah.
then would
hmm
you're the ones who's gonna give them the instructions like, listen, let's switch over to this kind of strategy instead. So that's what
Mm.
you basically do.
yeah, but I usually only talk before and after the games. Uh,
Ah.
Oh, so
before and after the
because
game.
I
Mm.
thought for a while like how while the game is going, parang F1 racing, di ba? Parang
Yeah, that's actually my
Yeah.
question also. Do
Pag
you like,
tumigil sila
yeah,
sa pit stop, right?
do you have a monitor, or did they listen to you while they're playing, or it's just them? It's basically just them
Yeah.
communicating.
Yeah.
communicating
So
within the game.
yeah. So like unlike traditional sports, you can like call for a timeout and like talk to the players.
Yeah.
Mm.
I can like the coach is only allowed during the drafting, the picking of heroes, and then
Mm-hmm.
like 1 minute during the loading screen.
Yep.
And then after the loading screen, you have to leave, and then you can only talk to the players after the game ends. So
Oh.
it's like you should
So
have
it's
done
really
this,
up to them
guys.
to strategize once if they're on the floor.
Yes.
Ah, okay.
That's interesting. Because
I
I
think,
honestly thought na you would be there to actually like
yeah, that's what I thought
give the
too.
directions if necessary.
Yeah. Which is why
Mm-mm.
like actually like coaching in esports, it's not about like telling the team what's the right thing to do, but asking like the right questions so that they can put that into their thought process during the game itself.
Mm-mm.
That's really. Now I actually feel
Yeah, I
what you
understand
feel
it.
when you were
Ibang-iba,
saying
no?
natalo kayo sa SEA Games, no? Kasi syempre parang if I was a coach at the time, I would feel like, oh my God, this should have happened instead. Na parang
Yeah.
you'd have that feeling kasi of regret. Para I mean,
Mhm.
I don't know if that was how you felt, pero I feel like that would have been what I would have felt if I was the coach.
Hindi siya yung typical na sport na pag may coach lang pwede kang, "Oy, time out
Yeah,
muna,
time out.
tingnan
Okay,
dito."
change
Yeah.
Hindi
strategy
pala
right
gano'n,
away.
ibang-iba siya.
Mm-mm.
So,
Yung
yun nga.
parang they have to think on their own so
Mhm.
Mhm.
that they can go through another round. Diba? Pero I think si Cedric kasi,
Mm.
can you just have Cedric also?
Yeah.
Yeah. Kasi parang from a coach perspective, let's try
Ano?
to get the player's perspective.
Ayan.
Sige.
The player
Cedric,
himself.
ayan. So, Cedric, ikaw naman, parang connect lang natin yung sinabi ni Rafael kanina. Parang, di ba, hindi kasi pwedeng pumasok yung coach in between. So, pag kayo niyan, kapag nakasalang na kayo, paano kayo nag-uusap? Paano kayo nag-strategize? Ganyan.
So sa amin kasi sa League of Legends, before parang sa drafting phase. So yung drafting phase ay yung sa picks pa lang. So kasama
Mm-mm.
namin yung coach dun eh. So yung
Ah,
coach ang purpose niya is tulungan kami mag-isip sa picks namin. So after
mm-mm.
nun, labas na siya. Kaya kung sakaling wala, nagkamali kami sa game, it's not parang hindi na mali ng coach, parang sa amin na yun. Parang
Oo.
sa sariling galaw na namin yung pagkakamali na yun.
Mm-mm.
Ah.
Tapos after nun, kuwari, matalo man kami, manalo-matalo, mag-uusap ulit kami. Ano ba yung dapat natin gawin? Ano yung dapat i-improve? Ano yung dapat baguhin? Bakit ganyan yung nangyari? Ganong bagay yung sa League of
Mm-mm.
Legends.
So I'm starting to get a good grasp of how it works, no. Kasi
Oo.
yun nga kasi parang hands off na yung coach pagdating nyo sa game. Parang,
Mm-mm.
ha? That's it.
It's really a different
I,
playing
I,
ground pagdating na nung nasa taas na yung mga players. Kasi pag nakapanood ako last year ng parang pro competition ng
Tayo yun.
ganyan. Oo, tayo Liz.
Tayo yun.
Ibang-iba yung tas
So, kayo
iba rin
na.
yung parang pressure. Wala
Oo.
kasi that time.
Wala ka
Pero
nun.
iba yung for me, parang iba yung pressure na mararamdaman ng players pag sila na yung nasa stage yung hindi pwedeng pumasok yung
Oo.
coach. Kasi iba at least kung may coach ka papasok like normal sport, parang mapapakalma mo yung sarili mo eh.
That's true.
Mm-mm.
Kasi pwede kang i-guide ng coach mo eh. Pero pag kayo na lang yun nandun sa taas talaga ng stage, iisip kayo talaga ng mga team members mo, right? Ganun, yes,
Mm-mm.
panigurado
yes.
ganun kayo.
Pero kasi sa amin ang advantage namin, yung coach namin is player din. So, 5 lang kami, tapos wala kaming coach that time. Ang coach namin is
iba.
our captain din.
Ah,
So, parang
okay.
Oo nga pala, pwede
So,
ka pala.
advantage yun.
at ayun yung advantage. Kaso, habang tumatagal din kasi parang mas okay yung may ibang coach talaga. Kasi ang hirap nung playing coach, ang dami mong
Hard.
iniisip. Maglalaro ka, tapos ikaw din yung mag-iisip ng strategy. Parang sa'yo na ng lahat. Yung pressure mapupunta sa'yo eh.
Oo.
Okay.
Which is mahirap i-handle.
So, yun yung
Sige.
sinasabi ni Rafael kanina na talagang you have to look at it at a different point of view. Kasi ikaw, you're looking at it parang bird's eye view. Tapos kapag
Mhm.
ikaw yung nasa player, kung ano lang yung nasa scope of vision mo, yun lang din yung mas nakikita mo.
Yes.
Iba
Okay.
yun. Sige.
Sige, ano na natin. So, thank you very much, Sir Rafael Albert. And since nandito na rin naman si Cedric, dire-diretso na natin yung kanyang
Yeah.
iaano natin.
Gamers.
Sasabihin niya. On a gamer point of view naman.
Oo.
Okay,
Oo.
so yung presentation ko is about my history. Yung experience ko simula nung bata ako. So, nag-pro ako 17 years old ako. Then, wala talagang idea ano gagawin. Parang inaya lang ako, kulang kami, isa ka namin, ganyan. Tapos pagpasok ko, akala ko sobrang dali. Kung ano yung nakasanayan ko nung una, ay hindi yung ginagawa ko din sa IPT. Yung first pro team ko is Imperium Pro Team. So, ako yung nasa pang-5. So, honestly, parang sa tingin ko, ako yung pinakamagaling in terms of micro. Pero the weakest in terms of macro. So, ayun yung parang mali doon. Kasi sa pro team, kailangan may teamwork talaga eh. Pangit pag yung solo-solo lang, ganun. So, yung laro ko is parang pang solo. So, parang nasaktan ako sa sinabi nung isa ng kakampi na, uy, hindi ka pa pang pro team. So, parang nawala yung motivation ko that time. Pero, syempre, nandito na ako eh. Gusto kong lumaban pa rin. So, ito yung second team ng IPT. So, IPT Blue. So, naglaro dito as substitute. Tulad ng sabi ko kanina, kaya nalibot ko yung roles ng LoL dahil naging sub ako. Kung sino yung mawawala, doon ako maglalaro. Kahit top, jungle, mid, ADC, support, kahit alin dyan, kung sino mawala, dapat alam ko yung gagawin ko. So, ito yung pinakamahirap na part kasi 5 roles eh, tas mga kampi ko, 1 role lang. Siyempre, ang dami kong iniisip. Parang nahirapan ako kasi bata pa ako, nape-pressure ako. Kaya nag-decide akong umalis na lang muna. Next slide. So, ito yung masabi kong comeback. Ako yung nasa pang-tip. So, ang role ko dito is support. Yung muna, medyo maganda yung performance namin sa team talaga. Nananalo kami, nag-playoffs kami, nag-finals kami. Kaso, di ko alam, parang sobrang malas ko. Nagkaroon ako ng TB that time. So, kailangan ko magpahinga ng sobrang tagal. Tingin ko marang 4 to 6 months ako nagpahinga. So, sobrang nakaka-frustrate kasi finals hindi ako nakalaro. Ako yung starting player tapos hindi ako nakalaro. Tapos, ito yung parang sinasadis rin kasi namatay yung mother ko. So, kailangan talaga ako i-sub out. So, parang sabi ko, ay, di ko alam kung tutuloy ko pa yung dream ko na ganyan. Next slide. Ito na yung last ng PGS. So, PGS is Pro Gaming Series. So, sa may 8 teams. na Philippines, 8 pro teams na maglalaban-laban. So ang mag-champion dito is magre-represent ng country. So ito yung last split ng PJS since nawala na yung Garena. So parang ang tingin ko dito is ito na yung last, parang give your best shot na. Kaso ayun ulit yung nangyari. May nangyari na namang hindi maganda. Parang at the end na biglang nag-fall down ako sa laro ko. Sobrang nabehen talaga ako kasi dito jungler ako eh. Ang jungler sa League of Legends is parang siya yung pinakamahalagang player sa team kasi siya yung magdidikta ng game. So once na bumagsak ang jungler, madadamay lahat. May parang maraming games na ganun nangyari. So sinitch ulit ako na role to carry. Kaso hindi kami nanalo ng playoff. So ang nangyari is tinanggal ako sa team. Next slide. Ito yung kaya sinama ko tong photo na to kasi yung IPT is the first team, the team is Manila Eagles is the second team. So yung nasa picture na sa Temi, that's my parang siya yung kino-consider ko na best friend sa sa LoL, sa League of Legends. Parang ang masabi ko nito is parang hindi walang kaibigan sa League of Legends eh. Parang kung kalaban talaga. Ang nasa isip ko dito is parang kailangan namin manalo kahit anong mangyari kasi magkasama kami sa isang sponsorship lang kami. Parang kung kami matatalo, kami yung mabe-behind sa team nila. Kaso ang ending natalo rin kami. Next slide. So ito yung Archangel, wala namin sa Imperium dahil lumipat kami ng team. Masasabi ko na ito yung best era ko sa League of Legends. Parang best team ba ganun. Kasi dito ako nag-improve talaga sa captain namin na siya yung tumulong talaga sa akin mag-improve. Siya yung nagpakita sa akin na kahit anong mayari is may tiwala siya sa akin, kahit anong gawin ko, kahit ano. Basta, dito ko natutunan sa team na to yung number 1 na kailangan mo sa pro team is trust your teammates. So, pag parang pina-point up niya sa amin na kung wala kang tiwala sa kampi mo, hindi mo deserve mag-pro team. Next slide. So, ito yung parang dream come true na para sa akin kasi first time ko mag-represent ng country. Ito yung Globe Conquerors Manila. So, ang first representative is Mineski. So, second kami. Dalawa kinuha sa Philippines. So, first time kong lumaban sa international. Wala akong idea talaga. Pero tulad nga ng sa captain namin is parang number 1 kung bakit kami malakas is nagtitiwala kami sa isa't isa. Parang no doubt talaga eh, parang as a team talaga, walang sisihan kahit anong mangyari, napag-decision ng lahat ng team yan eh. So, etong tournament ito is, first day namin, sa 3 games namin is talo kami ng 3 games. So, after naging, parang nagkaroon ng drama konti, parang syempre nakakulong ko parang representative kayo, tapos natalo. Parang nakakaya naman sa bansa natin. Pero na second day, kahit alam namin hindi na kami makakapag-playoffs, ginawa namin lahat. So, nangyari is nag-3-0 kami. Kaya kahit natalo kami ng day 1, naging proud sa amin yung Philippines sa yung LoL PH dahil sa pinakita naming laro. Next slide. So, yung tournament ito is sa Hey Gaming, sa Chinese, parang Chinese computer shop siya. Ayun, parang nakasulat Chinese din. So, nagtuloy-tuloy kami parang habang wala pang tournament. Tuloy-tuloy lang kami sa laro dito. Nakahanap kami ng tournament na katulad yan, 300k yung price niya. So, parang ito yung time na to nalaman ko na may tao pala naka-appreciate sa akin. Kasi yung mga nanonood talaga parang, uy, wow, ang galing niya. Parang ganun yung dating. Considering na Chinese yung mga tao na mga kasama namin dyan. So, parang first time ko na mapuri ng hindi Pinoy, ng ibang Sa next slide. Next slide. Ito na yung parang pinakalas na na step ko sa dream ko as a pro player. So yung tournament to is sa Thailand ginanap. Since nag-champion kami sa Lenovo sa Philippine qualifier. So lumaban kami sa Thailand ng January 2019. Pero yung nakakalungkot dun is naiwan yung isa namin. Personal issue. Kaya naghanap kami ng stand-in which is si Rebenga. So, parang sobrang saya ko dito kasi siyempre kahit sino naman kung mag-represent ka ng country mo sa ibang bansa, parang sobrang saya kasi experience din, dagdag achievement yan eh. Kaya sabi namin dito, manalo matalo kami, basta pakita namin na kaya lumaban ng Pilipinas. Pero sad to say, 5th place kami. Kung 4th place kami, nasa playoffs kami. Kaso, di ko alam kung ba't di kami makaabot ng playoffs. Next slide. Next slide. So, ito na yung pinaka-last since ito na rin yung pinaka-saddest ng history ko as a pro player. Ito na yung parang pag natalo kami, wala na. Pag nanalo kami, tuloy pa rin. Kaso ang kasi dito ang laban sa LoL dati is parang Archangel versus Liab. Ang number 1 is Liab, ang number 2 is Archangel. Ang goal namin is maging number 1. Kahit sobrang hirap, lumalaban lang kami. Nawala, as you can see naman sa picture, parang nag-iba yung lineup namin. Nawala yung captain namin. Parang sabi ko, paano natin gagawin to? Nawala yung tactician natin. Nawala yung sumusuporta sa amin. Nawala yung nagpapakalma sa amin. So, parang ito yung pinaka-disaster. Hindi naman disaster, pero nagkanya-kanya lang kami ng mindset, ganun. Pero hindi ako nawawala sa mindset ko kasi lagi ko naalala yung captain namin lagi ko naalala yung sinasabi niya. Lagi ko naalala yung advice niya sa akin na kahit anong mangyari, trust your team So, kahit anong mangyari, may tiwala ko sa kanila. So, yung last tournament namin sa Archangel 9 is sa PPGL versus Liab. Sobrang saya nun kasi napakita namin sa tao na kahit may Korean yung Liab, tas kami all Pinoy kami, may coach sila, kami kanya-kanya lang kami. Nanalo pa rin kami sana ng game na yung clean game ba? Kasi expected lahat na tao, mananalo Liab talaga kasi sila yung strongest team dito sa Philippines So parang nakaisang kami panalo sa Liab. Kaso sa series talo kami. At tas after nun, nag-decide na yung Archangel na kailangan na namin mag-disband. Hindi naman sa dahil talo kami. Pero kasi ang main focus ngayon ng competitive siguro sa esports, more on mobile na. Tsaka wala na rin yung Garena kasi. So parang if itutuloy na ni League of Legends, sila din yung malulugi. Kaya naintindihan namin kung ba't kailangan nila kami i-disband that time. Pero syempre sa part namin, sobrang sakit. Kasi matagal kami magkakasama. Parang lahat kami tingin ito yung best team sa buong history namin ng pagiging pro. At doon nagtalabas yung story ng pagpa-pro ko. Kasi after nun, nag-coach ako sa Bren Esports na LoL. Kaso medyo mahirap kasi from Manila, kailangan ko pumunta ng Iloilo, which is nasa Iloilo pa rin ako ngayon. Kasi ang LoL team ng Bren Esports is Iloilo, nasa Iloilo ang players nila. So, nung once na nirecruit nila ako, kailangan ko pumunta ng Iloilo kasi parang kasi di ba ang pag-pro player, parang ito na rin yung job natin, ganun. So, kailangan kong i-survive yung sarili ko, kaya kahit anong mangyari, gusto ko manalo, gusto ko pagpatuloy yung career ko. So, ayun. End of my presentation.
Yun.
Pero, Cedric, have you thought or considered na coaching din?
Sa last after ng Archangel, nag-coach ako sa Bren Esports. Kaso, parang nahirapan ako kasi yung Bren Esports na kasi hindi siya pro team. So, magkaiba yung namin, experience namin. So, sa unang isip ko, paano ba gagawin ko dito? I-apply ko ba yung tinuro sa amin dito or magsisimula tayo sa umpisa? So, ang ginawa ko, from basic muna. Kaso, parang hindi mo maiwan sarili na pag may ginagawa silang kakaiba na mali, parang, oh my God, anong ginagawa nyo? Parang ganyan nasa isip ko. Pero sabi ko sa sarili ko, coach ako, kailangan ko ng mahabang pasensya dito. Tsaka kailangan ko intindihin kasi mas nauna ako sa kanila. Parang ako yung senior nila, ganun. Sila yung young bloods. Kailangan ko silang turuan. Ayun yung goal ko.
Yeah,
So,
wow.
naman siya nag-work naman siya. So, yung mid namin sa Bren is nasa Liab na ngayon.
Mm-hmm.
Yung Liab is, strongest team ng League of Legends ngayon sa Pilipinas. So, napunta siya sa Liab. Pero, parang naging proud ako kasi kahit pa paano nakatulong ako sa kanya. Parang honestly, masabi ko na isa ako sa nakatulong sa pagbago ng mindset niya. Kasi itong mga ito yung ibang ano talaga, yung mga young bloods na ano, yung mga bago, yung mga parang newbie, rookie ba tawag doon yan. Parang ano sila, parang makulit pa. Walang walang disiplina ganun.
Parang
Yung parang
millennials, wow, ganun.
parang,
Pasaway pa.
parang ano sila parang panaglalaro parang ano parang nasa playground kami, parang ganun.
Parang
Pero
gusto pa
syempre,
lang magtest ng magtest. Di ba?
parang gusto mag-slide muna diyan, parang ganyan yung thing eh. So, parang ako as a pro player, sabi ko, ano ba ginagawa nyo? Ganyan. Minsan napapagalitan ko sila kasi part din naman. Pero sabi ko sa nila, kung papagalitan ko kayo, sa laro lang, sa personal, magkakaibigan pa rin tayo, syempre. Ayun yung isang nabago ko sa kanila. Kasi dati nasa isip nila, pag napagalitan sa laro, makaaway mo na rin after nun eh. Ayun yung ano eh. So, ang role ko sa kanila is, una, baguhin ko yung mindset nila. Parang as a professional, para maging professional din sila. Pangalawa, yung banding talaga yung mahalaga sa team eh. Parang feeling ko pag walang banding yung team, pangit yung magiging outcome sa laro eh. Parang ganun yung dating sa akin. Kasi natutunan sa Arc Angel, kahit after ng laro, team pa rin kami sa labas talagang pagkakain, sabay-sabay. Kung may pupuntahan, magkakasama pa rin. Kung iinom, sige, iwan kami. Iwan kami.
Iwan na inom.
Iwan inom.
Sira daw ng paglalaro.
Iwan inom. Kasi, nung ginagawa ko talaga sa career ko, parang sacrifice. Dati, sinacrifice ko yung tulog ko. As in, 20 hours ako naglalaro, tapos 4 hours yung tulog ko. Yung kain ko, habang naglalaro, kumakain na rin ako. Ayokong ma-interrupt yung paglaro ko nun eh. Kasi, sabi ko nga dati, ako yung pinakamahina dati sa sa macro. Yung macro is parang game knowledge. Parang, nahihirapan ako mag-adjust. Hindi ko alam, ano ba gusto yung game knowledge yung gawin natin. Parang ganun. So, natutunan ako ng macro na yun sa Archangel na. Kasi nga, parang naging open kami sa isa't isa. Kasi before, parang nasa isip ko, may tiwala ba yung kakampi ko? Kasi, di ba, parang ganun sa isip ko talaga eh. Parang normal naman na maisip ng isang pro player minsan na kapag alam mong nabeben yung laro mo, nasa isip mo, mga mamaya, galit na sa akin to. Mamaya, tanggalin na ako nito. Parang puro ganun, parang nagka-anxiety na ako sa inside sa team. Ang dami kong naisip. So, nung nasa Angel naman ako, parang naintindihan ako ng captain namin bago kami magkasama. Parang alam niya yung problema ko. So, naayos na talaga as in, oy Sid, sige bahala ka na gusto mong gamitin yan. E di ako nagpipick ako ng tinatry ko sila eh, nagpipick ako ng ayaw nila. Parang sabi ko, wag mong pick yan. Sige, pick ko yan. Parang, kung ano yung ayaw nila, pipick ko, parang nagmamatigas ako noong una. Kasi gusto ko malaman kung totoo bang may tiwala ba kayo. Parang ganyan. So, parang nung ginawa ko, nagulat ako, wow, wala kayong reaction, ganyan. Parang wala pa kayong pake kung matatalo tayo. Pero, ayun nga, kaya sabi ko na yung trust yung number 1 na kailangan sa pro team. Kasi kahit na kung ano nung ginagawa namin, kahit di ako nakikinig, may tiwala sila sa akin eh. May tiwala sila sa akin.
Kahit di nakikinig.
Hindi ako nakikinig sa kanila. Parang tinetest ko kung totoo ba yung pinag-uusapan namin. Baka mamaya, parang chismis lang yan. Tapos pagdating ng laro, wala na eh. Parang, kwento-kwento lang. So doon ako nag-improve sa pro player. Parang hindi ko consider na pro player ako nung early nung nasa IP.
Okay.
Parang consider ko sarili ko na pro player na Archangel na.
It's a development period na
Oo.
Alright, so let's bring in everyone. Let's bring back everyone here. Hi guys.
Okay na yung lumpia, ready na. Dito naman lahat.
And so like we had the we had the perspective from an organizer's point of view,
Yeah.
a commentator, to a coach, and to a player in the esports arena, no? So right now we're open to a lot of questions, and I know like si Lizette and Alan would have a lot of questions then for our guests right now. Ikaw, Lizette, would you
Ako, basically kasi, for people who don't know what actually, I think last night I wanted to ask this pero ngayon na lang. How do you become a professional esports player? Do you get drafted, or like how do you scout for players? Okay, anybody can answer.
I think I can go first. I think there's a hole, or there's like something missing where there's not a proper like recruitment system. It's really like
Mhm.
I know a guy. It's a I
Yeah.
know a guy. So
So it's like word of mouth. O
yeah,
parang,
word of mouth essentially.
if this guy is like a
Mm.
good player, oh, hatak ko na
Yeah,
to, ganyan.
yeah. So
Okay.
like if you have a good reputation and people like you, you're a nice player, walang bad
Mm-mm.
attitude. You get recommended. Sige, try, diba? So
Would,
that's
would you say
unless there's
that
something I'm not
goes
aware of.
for like just mobile games, or does that go
Uh,
Yeah.
like
Based on my understanding, for everything, for unless
Mhm.
Historically speaking kasi,
yes,
the teams start out as like a bunch of friends. They
Yeah.
Mm.
join like the small time tournaments,
Mhm.
get sponsorship. So since wala pa tayong like what Korea has, which is KESPA, na may
Mm-mm.
organized government sanctioned stuff. This is more of yun nga, who you know, how you know
Mhm.
them, and
how good
who
they play?
they know.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm.
Meron din there are some games actually meron silang tinatawag na MMR or ranking system. So
Yeah.
an experience ko may mga ibang teams parang titignan there's yung sa Dota 2. So
Yeah.
they have this
Mm.
MMR ranking. So meron ako na nakikita mga ibang teams parang chine-check nila doon tapos nakikita nila yung parang in-game name and then nakita nila kung anong bansa. If it's Philippines, parang they'll try to contact it. And then yun, they'll try to
Oh,
so
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 like they,
so
they
ranking yeah.
they recruit people then from like, so other countries actually recruit some Filipinos outside then for
Yes.
they export
Yes.
them
Yes,
Mm,
yes.
okay.
for
Yeah.
Ang isang magandang advantage kasi ng games and esports is that nasa system na mismo yung pag-measure ng skill mo. Yung
Oo.
MMR, it means matchmaking ranking. So if you're playing ranked, you get more of it if you win a lot and you lose it if you lose a lot. So yung really good players, you see them in a numerical fashion talaga. Sino yung top 100, top
yeah.
50. So when
Mm.
people are looking for the teams, it's either they look kung sino yung nasa taas or they talk to the players, hey, you can only apply to my team if you have this certain MMR. And that filters out a lot of the people in terms of recruitment.
but that
Yeah.
applies to Dota 2 though. I mean
No,
I
all of the games.
all of
yeah.
the games.
All of the
Mm.
games. All of the games.
Unlike other games, well, at least from what I've heard, like some would actually hold auditions or
Yeah.
Tryouts. Yes,
diba?
yes.
Try it.
Yes. Pero again, usually yung mga tryouts na to, it has a specific requirements. You need to be Diamond 1 or above before you
Yeah.
can try it out.
Mm.
You need
Yeah.
to be mid or bot or a top or a jungle. So, medyo concentrated na siya to.
Yeah.
Yung mga free-for-all trials, it does still happen, pero usually, yun yung mga like starting out, mga amateur teams na wants to just compete to the tournaments and stuff.
Okay.
Mm.
I have a question no for Judes. This is coming from Jello Adraw. Ano po item level for Savage ng iconic weapon? Specifically for Gunbreaker side tank with double caster build. Wow, napaspecific.
Very specific eh. Parang may
For-
nakakasang sagot.
480, crit, direct hit, and
Wow.
then you max out your skill level sa 2.4 kung saka comfortable.
You
Wow.
love already
I
a
got you,
crit.
man. Also, hindi na ako Gunbreaker, I'm a Paladin now. Very different. Bakit ng question? Okay.
Sobra yung
Yun yung
Oy, Jello.
question eh.
ano ah.
High level question.
High level question. Lumipad ka
That
agad
only
tayo.
shows your also that also shows your mastery of the game. Kasi diba,
Mm.
so, being a shoutcaster and a player, kailangan mong alamin talaga yung,
And you
yung
were just
bawat ganun.
you were just able to like answer that question in a snap. Like that's it. Like
Yeah.
Mhm.
that's
Well,
easy. Basic.
you have to learn, you have to know a lot. I think it's one of the habits of the good players talaga na whatever they play, they investigate, they read a lot, and then they just know a lot of stuff there. Kaya sila nag-excel. Kasi sobrang laking bagay ng information. I think the
Yeah.
coaches and the players can attest to it. Just for
Yeah.
knowing stuff, you'll just get easy wins, to be honest.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Actually, to add on to that, like personally, like I find it like meh when people say, or like when you're holding tryouts, when they say willing ako mag-learn, I'm willing to learn.
Oh, yeah.
I don't want players that are willing to learn. I want players that are willing to experiment,
Yeah.
because that
Mm.
have an open mind and try stuff out, and
Yeah.
make what create something that suits you, basically. Yeah.
Sometimes it also works, yung mga weird stuff. One thing that comes to mind is that mask strategy sa Mobile Legends, when they all got masks and it like ruined the meta and
Is
like
that like
the
the
whole
funneling?
professional. Sorry.
Is that like the funneling?
Yeah,
The
I think it was. I think I forgot the name of the strat. Pero I remember kasi there was a strategy that everyone gets a mask, so the gold
Mhm.
gets distributed equally. And now, like sobrang nasira yung meta ng Mobile Legends noon that Moonton itself had to patch it somehow.
Hmm.
And like
Oh
the
yeah.
fact na the team was experimenting with that kind of thing na sobrang nakabury lang around there, nobody was doing.
Mhm.
It's so creative, and I think it like features kung gaano ka laking brain power yung kailangan mo to be an actual like player in a competitive sense.
Mm.
Can you imagine? Sobrang laki nun.
Si Alan ata may question din.
Yeah, meron naman mga light question lang since
Okay.
kanina nasabi naman ni Cedric na pag naglalaro siya, parang inabot ka ng around 15 hours, tapos pahinga mo lang 4, mga ganun. Tama ba ako, Ced?
Like dati naglalaro ko ng 20 hours.
Oh my God, yun yung longest.
Wow.
Yeah, it happens.
So,
Insane.
paano naman
Tapos,
si,
Old school. Old school.
Wow, 20
Ah,
hours. Ano to?
20 hours yun sa kanya. Mobile games lang yun?
Na cellphone?
sa
Or
League of Legends.
Okay.
League of Legends talaga. Paano naman
Okay.
si Judes, si Sir Joebert, and also Raf? Kung given sila na, kunyari, I will play games, gano'n kaya ako katagal maglalaro na. Yun yung
I
longest
don't know,
playing
casually
game.
or
Oo.
But
It's
you're talking about esports lang or any kind of game?
Esports,
Any kind of games. Any kind
any
of games.
kind of game.
Kunyari, prefer mo rin yung
Nako.
Final Fantasy, gano'n ka katagal lalaro.
Yeah.
Like the longest?
Oo,
Yeah.
the longest.
Longest.
Siguro, sinang ade, kayo mauna, sige.
Joebert, para
Go ahead, go ahead.
hours.
Nahiya si Jim.
I play kasi mga, siguro, yung old games, like yung mga SNES, mga,
Okay.
yeah, as you said, Final Fantasy, Secret of Mana, ganyan. So, pag walang pasok, siguro, 7 a.m. Gigising I'll start playing tapos kain from 1 hour kain 11 12 tapos laro ulit 1 hanggang 7 laro pa yun and then 7 to 8 kain and then laro hanggang mga 9 10 tapos tulog so that's I think that's more than 15 hours. Pero, and then alam mo yung mga RPG dati yung parang you're grinding. Hindi pa yung online hindi pa yung mga MMORPGs, yung mga dating mga games na you're grinding just to level up so yun that's how siguro at least 15 hours.
15 hours yung matagal ni Sir Joebert. How about Jude
15
and
hours.
Raf?
I think ang longest playing time ko consecutively is like 24 lang. There was like a challenge. That was way back then.
Way back.
Na parang
bata pa, no? Nung kaya
Small,
pa.
nung may stamina pa.
May stamina
Right.
pa. Yeah.
Pero if it's like a competitive game, I play around 10 to 18 hours at most. Kasi even if you grind, it starts to degrade your senses then minsan so you have to rest. So I keep it at 10 to 18 hours max.
Okay.
I honestly, I'm really against like playing like a lot because I really like it's like
Do you kami
you get burnt
naniniwala?
out. You get burnt out. Like players do get burnt out, and that's like one of the top reasons why. Like I think the longest I've really played was probably like from after lunch to like before dinner, like 12 to 7. Parang ganon. So
Okay.
and then,
You're
I have
on the reasonable gaming side, yeah.
I have played like the whole day, but like it's chopped up with like breaks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Kasi I think parang si Rafael kasi I think that would be your advice also to aspiring pro players, diba? Don't burn yourself out playing.
No.
Yeah.
If we're taking like a sports metaphor here, if you play basketball for 18 straight hours,
You'll die.
You'll die. So
Hindi ko na alam kung paano ka nagdi-dribble ng siguro pag ganun.
Yeah.
you're gonna die. Same applies for games, except hindi ka
Mm.
physically sabog, but your brain is like overloaded na.
Yes.
So,
Hindi magfa-function
Mm.
ng
I
tama.
think
yeah, just
I've
take a
had
break.
that experience na myself, so I can definitely relate.
Yeah. Actually, like on this whole quarantine, I've been playing Dota, and I've been like self-coaching myself lang. And I started the quarantine at 3K MMR, and I'm proud to say like I only play for 2 hours a day, and I'm 4.4K now.
Oh,
Wow,
wow.
nice.
Wow.
It's pretty huge.
I play
Wow.
2 games in the morning, and then after lunch, if I'm like not happy with my game, I'll watch. I'll watch my own game.
Okay.
Guys, to set up lang kung gaano kalaking bagay nun, I think per win you get at most
30.
22 points.
Now it's
30
30
points.
solo. I play
Wow, it's
solo.
pretty
Wow.
high.
So,
So you get
Wow.
30. So he got like 1,000 plus
1,000.
points
one
for
four.
30 per game, and then may
So,
losses pa. So that's
Yeah.
huge, man.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
Yeah.
really proud. Like I'm so happy with like
Wow.
progress. Yeah.
Is that like a way for you to actually come back on the gaming scene, not as a coach but as a player? Yeah.
No, I don't want to say it. I'm not good enough to like play PC. I'm only 4. Like if you want to play pro, it's like what you have to be like 8, 9K.
Okay.
Nowhere near. It's just for fun, like a personal challenge.
Mm.
Okay. So, may question ulit ako from Jello Adraw then for Sir Guapo Joebert. Wow.
Wow.
Boss JB. Oh, Boss JB.
How do you deal with problematic influencers in your events but not doing anything bad per se in the event itself?
Actually, we had that experience already before. So I just won't mention the talent para naman ano. Pero what happened was I'll tell the situation na lang. Parang you know kasi syempre you have sponsors that you of course you try to keep them happy, di ba? And just so happened one of our biggest or our biggest sponsors medyo siguro kasi yung sa events kasi namin we have streaming eh. And then this person kind of like said something kumaga parang medyo nag-offline kami medyo due to some technical difficulties. And then this person kind of like mentioned na basta may sinabi siyang na kaya nagka-technical difficulties because of that brand parang ganoon of that yung what
Okay.
happened to
I
dun sa
remember
ano namin.
this.
So it's kind of like yan ako alam ni Jen. So yun so of course we try to parang kami we just to let it stride and nung time naman yun no one kind of like but of course you as an organizer syempre the most important thing is you don't say anything to your so doon so we kind of like talk to that person internally kumaga and then the next day that person wasn't around anymore. Although we didn't tell it hindi naman kasi ayaw naman namin mapaya yung person. So hindi naman namin we didn't mention anything, there was no announcement, no parang ganon. We just let it parang internally lang ask the person lang na but and then ang okay naman kasi the person knows naman na nagkamali siya.
Okay.
It's not like parang nagalit siya or parang sinisisi
Nagmalaki
siya
pa. Parang
it's I would say it's a mental siguro mental lapse lang siguro. So yun yung pinaka as far as I remember
Basically, you guys handle it very discreetly.
Yeah. And ang maganda naman kasi is mabuti na lang yung sponsor namin parang yun nga siguro daming tao sa booth niya kaya and they were very happy with the way we parang gave importance to that that big sponsor. So wala naman nothing bad naman happened. Thank God naman sa side ng sponsor between our so
That's good.
And that only shows you professionalism within like organizing events. Kasi I mean, these kinds of technical glitches would really affect your whole show. I mean, from a program perspective, diba?
The programs manager for TCPH.
Yeah, we understand. I understand naman kasi hindi naman I would understand kasi naman na parang if a talent makes mistakes, not only that, kumaga in the past I've dealt with with talents that make mistakes. Alam ko si Judes knows also na meron din mga talents that make mistakes. Yung mga if it's like parang it doesn't involve a someone or a sponsor or company. Kunyari, siya lang parang nagkamali lang ng salita, imbis this person, ito pala na mention niya. You can always say, I'm sorry, ganyan, and ito pala yung tamang person. So they can always say it. Pero if you're involved, if you're involving someone na hindi mo control, may chance na yung ano na yun, that other party magalit sa'yo, or yun nga, pwede kang tanggalan ng any kind of how they say this, parang opportunities. Syempre, dun lang siguro yung dun lang siguro as much as we try to control it. If we cannot control it, then no choice. We have to do something na para but yun, it's hard. Sometimes it's hard, lalo na kaibigan mo, kilala mo yung person na mga but
That's one of the hardest parts.
You have to sometimes you have to draw the line. Yeah, you have to draw the line between So yun. Yeah, that's it.
May question ako kay Cedric, no? Sinabi mo na kanina 20 hours yung maximum game time mo. Pero what was your regular training regimen for being a pro player?
Paano training?
Paano yung everyday mo, no? Kunyari, may match kayo. What's your process to actually up until you get D-Day? Anong ginagawa mo? Anong training regimen mo?
Ang ginagawa ko lang kasi before, sa IPT ko lang kasi ginawa yan 20 hours kasi marami akong account nun na gusto ko ipa-challenger, yung challenger yung highest rank. Kaya umabot ako ng 20 hours. So that time, nangyayari nun, parang nasisira na yung health ko. Parang ginagawa na parang nakaupo lang ako buong araw doon, tapos yung pagkain, nagpapakuha ng pagkain.
Nagpapasubo ka na rin ng pagkain.
May lumalabas sa pansit canton sa
Hello.
Parang yung teammate ko, sabi ko, pasabay naman ako ng puro ganun ang ginagawa kasi gusto kong mag-grind. So parang wala nang ginagawa nun kahit parang naging buhay ko na yung computer that time.
Okay.
Talagang wala, as in, kaya hindi ako magtatanong ba't nagka-TV ako last time eh. Talagang, doon nasira yung sa playoffs namin eh. So parang wala akong ginagawa na, nasisira na rin yung mindset ko. Pero nasa Archangel kami, parang may process kami daily. Parang kailangan mo gumising ng 11 a.m. dapat lahat kayo gising na. Tapos, yung 11 to 12, mag-exercise kami. Kasi, parang kailangan daw namin kasi mamaya, anong mangyayari sa amin, nakaupo kami magdamag. So, ginagawa mag-exercise kami. So, ginagawa ko, naglalakad ako kung saan-saan sa labas. Parang, na yung pinakalam ko exercise eh. Talagang wala akong
as long as you're moving your legs, di ba?
So, tumatakbo-takbo ko nun kahit parang baliw na ako nun sa paikot-ikot ako sa pool namin. Ganun. Yung ginagawa hanggang 1 hour siya. Then, 12 to 1, kakain kami. Parang yung, nire-required kami kumain lagi ng gulay. Ganun. Kasi, pag puro meat daw,
may diet din.
May diet din talaga.
Kaso, since na makulit ako, hindi ako kakain ng gulay kasi hindi ako makain ng gulay eh. Yun na nangyayari, parang parang tinutulungan na kami Ayun na yung pinaka, ginagawa namin, parang training na rin na parang binabago sa amin yun eh. Kaso, pasaway din talaga ako that time eh. Parang kung ano yung gusto kong mangyari, ayun yung talaga yung mangyayari eh. So, 12 to 1, ganun. Tas 1 to 6 is solo queue. So, yun yung mag-rank game ka mag-isa mo, individual. Ang 6 to 10 namin is training team practice.
Okay.
Tapos, after nun, pwede ka nang pero may rules kami na kailangan 2 o'clock. Nasa taas pa kami lahat.
Okay.
Siyempre, makulit na naman ako. Di talaga matutulog eh. Hanggang 4, 5, or 6 naglalaro pa rin ako. Parang kumare akit lang ako. Pag tulog na sila, tsaka ako bababa, maglalaro ulit ako. Parang talaga yung game eh. Parang hindi ko naisip yung kung ano yung mangyayari sa akin. Ganun.
Basta talagang gusto mo lang maglaro na
Wala maglaro kasi gusto kong mag number 1 yung team namin. Ganyan. Ganun yung nasa isip ko kasi. Pero parang nababaliwala ko yung binibigay sa aming parang guidelines, yung rules, yung training na kailangan namin.
Out of
Pero
passion and dedication.
yes, ganun ano. Pero pag yung may major tournament talaga, kailangan na talagang sumunod kasi ayoko na masigawan ng captain namin, natatakot ako sa kanya. Parang
Piggyback.
parang ano parang dati pinagtitripan ko sila na ganun, parang naipagkulitan ako. Tapos one time, parang nagalit sa akin yung captain ko. Siyempre nagulat ako kasi parang tagal namin magkasama, parang puro katuwaan. Tapos bigla siya nagalit. So after nun, ayun na, nakikinig na ako. Ano yung dapat na ginagawa ng isa, gagawin ko na rin. Talagang pag sinabing tulog, tulog na. Pag nahuli rin ako one time Talagang sinumbong ako sa management namin. Parang yung management kasi yung nabigay ng ganun.
Okay.
Na kailangan ganito yung gagawin nyo, araw-araw ganyan.
Sige. Piggyback ko yung question kay Raf, no? Kasi you were a coach of team then. What's the training regimen that you provide your team?
So during the SEA Games mismo, our training schedule is from 4 p.m. to 12 midnight. And we would all meet in Makati in Bren HQ. So it was an on-site training facility. Usually 4 p.m. when we start, it's like warm up, just play. And then we'll usually have like a focused discussion on like what we're gonna do for the day. Yeah. And then they'll play until about 6 or 7. And then they eat dinner. There's like dinner over there. And then the intense part of the training is really after dinner from like about 7 to midnight or 8 to midnight onwards when we're scrimming against other teams, usually from like Indonesia or Taiwan, usually those regions. But now in One Snap, it's because my players are still students, and unless like if it's a big tournament like the SEA Games, then you're going like full time, right? But if it's something on the side lang, our practice is only from like 9 to 12 or 10 to 12 at night.
Oh,
So
okay.
3 hours, usually about 4 or 5 times a week, 6 times a week, depending on availability. If no one's available, then because
Okay.
of other things, then no pressure. Yeah.
Got it. And Zet,
There's a question here. It's a two-part question from Jello Adrao. First question. This goes for everybody. With sponsor expectations, what is the line where you give what they want to do that needs to be done? And the second part of his question is also for the teams that would need to call players that the sponsors feel are not performing or are being replaced for clout. Okay, so let's go to the first part of the question. Maybe we can highlight that question, please. With sponsor
para makita yung question.
expectations, where do you draw the line for what needs to be done and what the sponsors want?
do you guys meet in between with the sponsors?
Yeah, or where do you draw the line?
Do you follow their demands or ano? I mean, siguro ako, I would think it would be depending on sponsors, diba?
Yeah. But I
Um,
guess we want you
Yeah,
for
si Joebert
Yeah.
would probably
Actually, ano yan yung ano na yan, I think tama nga, it can be for a team, it can be for organizer, di ba? So, I think siguro each one has their different take. So, as an organizer siguro, actually, in my experience, wala pa naman akong parang siguro malambot siguro yung puso ko para sa ano to the point na whenever a sponsor asks something, whenever a sponsor asks something from me, parang I try to ano naman. Pero siguro the way I can see, is kasi as an organizer, you have to una before I was compute ako parang as much as possible you don't want especially the early days that we do you don't want to have a loss. I mean, dati sunod-sunod lagi yung the first year that we organize event. Pag after the event, makokompitin mo lahat ng Cosmo, ano ka, negative ka, or ano, swerte ka na pag naka-break even ka. So siguro as the year goes by, parang I try to learn, kasi syempre companies or most sponsor will probably want discount. Syempre, yun naman, that's the main thing na nila. So they try to ask lower price, ganyan.
Yeah.
And nung dati parang oo lang ako na oo, but yun nga, napaisip ko para sariling packet ko na, kinukuha ko na sariling ano na namin,
Oo.
parang ganun. So I try to draw the line when I try to compute kung ano yung parang yung total cost. That's probably my ano. But in terms of the request naman, if the request is not is something that it's already a part of the event, or it's already something that we can give out without siguro monetary we try to accept naman, we try to so, but like I said, so far naman I never had any experience naman with any brands that kind of like gave me a headache actually.
So safe to say
Like,
you've met in between for most of your sponsors naman.
yeah. And very thankful naman ako na especially nung time ng early times parang sobrang patient sila sa amin. So yun naman din yung yun lang. So siguro maybe in simpler terms, when I try to draw the line, if it's when it comes to costing or when it comes to money values,
Okay.
that's what I try to So that's my take.
How about kay Judes?
On the project management side naman ang masasagot ko. I mean, I agree with Joebert na throughout the years, ang dami din namin na ka-work na sponsors, and for the most part, madali naman silang kausap. The line is a huge gray area kasi sometimes ang nire-request nila is things that are readily available na nasa office nyo naman. Maybe you can just bring some extra computers and stuff. It doesn't really cost you anything kasi you're getting the truck naman anyway. You can just add another PC or some, for example lang.
Okay.
Pero para sa akin, I've developed a rule of thumb lang na if it exceeds 20% of the budget of the project, the whole project, doon ako magpapaisip na, hey, we might need to discuss the costing of your request because as much as we want to accommodate you, the costing of the project is set na naman, and I think it's something they understand. So again, most of the brands that we talk to can accommodate this and napag-uusapan naman siya. Pero if it's something na we already have, na nasa amin na, we have the materials, and we'll just bring it up, like an extra TV, it wouldn't really hurt if you give it. Kasi, again, hindi naman perfecto both sides. May mga clients na demanding, tas may mga organizers din naman na minsan nakakalimutan gawin yung ibang bagay. So, for my mindset ko lang is, at the end of the day, pantay lang. Like, nobody's perfect. As long as... Wow, grabe. I'm just saying, I mean, personally ako din, may mga projects din ako na may mga bagay na hindi na-provide. Pero, again, kung nag-uusap naman kayo, and again, at the end of the day, masaya yung mga tao, I think that's the bar that you need to reach. As long as you reach that bar, even if it costed a little extra, even if you did not reach the amount of money you expected, nabawasan ng onte because you had to do things, as long as the audience are happy and the sponsor is happy and willing to do another project, I mean, it's all fine at the end of the day, right?
Yes. Yeah. Coach Raf.
Okay, so I think from based on my experience at least, it depends if the sponsor is taking a cut from the prize pool or if the sponsor is only using the team as a marketing tool.
Oh, okay.
So if
may sponsors din palang ganon na they would try to take a cut.
I'm not. It depends per team. It's a negotiation already.
Okay.
But technically, in theory, the more you win, the higher you go up to the finals, the higher the viewership. So if the sponsor's taking a cut from your prize pool and you reach the championship, then all goods, right? All goods, no problems whatsoever. But while if you're losing these tournaments and you're not earning money from tournaments, that's when as a coach I have to say why are we losing, right? To the sponsor, why are we losing? Is it a team problem? Or if the sponsor decides it's a coach problem, then I'm out, right? So That's one thing. While if it's like if the sponsors are solely using it as a marketing tool, where they're not taking a percentage of your prize money, then um, it's really just about like the fan base.
Okay.
If, even if we're like third place, fourth place, fifth place, but like damning fans,
Uh-huh.
and a lot of people watch our games, and the people love like the players, etc., etc. Then
Mm-mm.
from the sponsors, there shouldn't be much of a problem. But of course, it's still best to win, right?
Exactly.
I think that's from my side, naman. Yeah.
Yeah. How about you, Cedric? May ano ba kayo with sponsors?
Para sa akin kasi as a pro player, sa pro team, isa lang naman ang gusto ng sponsor lagi, yung ayun yung manalo kayo, mag-champion, yung
Para
mag-improve
yung
kayo as a
pangalan
team.
nila.
Ayun yung ayun. Tsaka hindi ko alam kung gusto nila na ano, mag-improve kami, pero feeling ko ganun yung pinaka-main goal eh. Wala naman akong na-encounter na ano kasi before sa team ko kahit malaki yung price, parang ang alam ko hindi kumukuha yung sponsor namin.
May manager ba kayo sa team nyo or like yung team captain ayos ng, for example, for sponsorship? Ganun ba yun? Or
Sa Imperium kasi si Boss Rap, yung manager namin sa ano, nag-handle siya ng dalawang team pero kapag pag may nananalo, hindi siya kumukuha kasi parang main goal niya is
Okay.
parang sa pangalan ng Imperium, ganun. So, parang pag tumaas yung pangalan ng Imperium, makakuha siya ng another sponsor. Parang partnership yung habol niya. Kaya, ayun yung goal niya sa amin dati. Then, nung nasa Archangel kami, almost the same din na number one, we need to win the game. Hindi naman lagi, pero kung matatalo man, yung at least ginawa yung best. Parang normal na sa sponsor na ano, parang advertise yung name nila
basta
through the game.
yung pangalan throughout.
Yeah, kasi magbe-benefit kasi parehas eh.
Aha.
Parang sabihin natin sa amin yung price, sa kanila yung name nung ano. Parang ganun lang yung ano, simple as that na nangyayari.
Ano na sila, walking advertisement parang
ganun
dating, di ba? Oo.
Yeah.
Tama.
Kasi nasa uniform na rin nila yan, di ba? Minsan, yung mga
Sasagot rin ba ako dyan sa tanong?
Oh, wow. Sige, sagot ka din.
On a non-gamer perspective side with sponsors, ganun ba yan eh? Alright, so I guess we're moving on to our trivias, no?
Yep.
So,
For those guys who have stuck with us for the past
2
hour
hours.
and 50 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're giving away, again, I just wanna point out that we're actually giving away, ano ulit yung give away ko?
Yung
Oh
mouse.
my God, nalimutan mo na.
Mouse.
Yung
So,
here.
it's a
Ayan.
Logitech
Judes has it
G102
also.
gaming
I have it.
mouse.
I use it.
Anong review mo dyan, Judes? Yan, sige.
Dude, I got this mouse specifically for FPS because I really like it.
What FPS? Ayan.
Valorant, and actually,
Diba? Yeah, Valorant na po.
dude, I'm serious kasi ano, like there's other like 403 yung mga nire-recommend sa akin ng friends ko, but this model is simple enough. Tas maganda yung ano niya, sensor niya that it goes well with FPS. I'm not paid, by the way. I just really like the mouse. Okay.
Ano daw talaga yan? Tama yung sinabi ni Jude, sobrang ganda nga daw for FPS gaming.
Yeah.
Especially for FPS
Whoever is
gaming daw talaga yan.
playing CSGO, Valorant, Overwatch,
R6,
COD.
Counter-Strike.
Counter-Strike. Paladins. Oo.
Yan. So we're gonna be giving 4. Yan. I just
Free na lang sa akin yung isa.
Gusto ko nga din sana.
I just
Nung
confirmed
last episode pa ako umaawit.
4 mouse ngayon. Last week, 2 lang pinamigay natin. So ngayon, 4 ang pamimigay ko. Yan. So,
Okay.
Blessed.
sino ba? Sino magtatanong?
Ako na muna. First
Ayan,
question.
sige. May first question. Yan.
Sige.
So, ang first,
Ako
first comment yung una mag-comment, and then we'll
Yeah.
have Kowa. We'll have Kowa actually check and see kung sino yung mananalo. May Kowa po kami.
Yes. Of course, meron. Sa aming COA, sorry.
A message lang din from Miss Catherine Barameda and for myself, no, to all trivia winners, please check your Facebook messages for a message either from her or me, so that our logistics team can actually make arrangements for the delivery of your prices. Yeah,
Mhm.
public service announcement.
Okay. So, question number 1. I think this would be for those con goers.
Mhm.
Okay. Reminder, guys, the first question and the first answer that we see on our comments side dito, yun yung i-honor natin. Okay?
Mm-mm.
So, what was the date of ESGS last year?
Hindi po kasama ang business day.
Okay. Okay, oo. So, I mean,
Again.
last time.
Kasama
No, hindi
business
nakasama
day.
yan.
Yep. Again, what was the date of ESGS last year? Okay.
Yeah.
Checking
Yeah,
comments.
first comment.
Oo.
Papas, yan ang
Aba, meron
Paano?
na. May nakita na ako.
So,
Yan.
so ipa-plug ko lang yung Call of Duty tag ko ay Sprinter42 hashtag 4468820.
Haba.
Yun yung sa Activision kasi I'm really
Yeah.
a Call of Duty Warzone player.
Okay, we have a winner.
May winner na kaagad.
Meron na. At
Sino?
kilala ko to.
Oh my
Congratulations, Danler Mendoza.
Bilis.
No.
Ang bilis ah.
Kanina ka
Ang
pa
bilis,
nanonood.
Wow.
Kanina ka pa nanonood
Siyempre
dyan.
support. Siyempre
Wow,
support sa
thank
BB.
I support. I will be done. Yan.
Congrats, aba.
Congratulations.
Galing.
Congratulations.
Pang
Congratulations.
FPS, ayan.
Okay.
Ang next natin. Ako na ba sa next? Ako sa next.
Sige.
Okay. Siguro naman kung nakikinig talaga kayo, wow. Kung nakikinig talaga kayo ng episode na to. Sige, what was Rafael's first high stakes game team? Again, what was Rafael's first high stakes game team?
Tumatak yung binasa mo eh.
Ano ba? Pero kasi tumatak yung...
Tumatak yun eh.
Oo, tumatak eh. Tumatak kasi kanina. Sabi ko, ganyan yung... What? What na lang yung what?
Talagang pag sabi ko, napano ako dito sa background eh.
Alam mo naman, pag otaku, pag mga ganyang anuhan,
Exactly.
ano na...
Rafael, are you an otaku yourself?
No.
No, yeah.
I've watched Attack on Titan
Okay.
Pwede naman.
and Sword Art.
Nga, speaking of, habang
That's like anti-otaku. The anti-otaku. That's like normal people anime.
Sino Sir Joebert naman siguro si Judes and Cedric watch also anime, no? Palagay nyo, habang nag-antay tayo ng sagot, anime favorites, kung sabihin natin Ghost Fighter, oldies man or new?
Dude, I just rewatched Yu Yu Hakusho. Oh my God, ang daming sinensor ng
Netflix, on Netflix.
Oh my God. Sabihin ko lang since Sui was right, just saying, hindi siya mali.
Wow.
Oo.
Dapat daw tama spelling, sabi ng COA. So hindi raw tatanggapin kapag hindi tama ang spelling.
Okay.
Promise kung hindi nyo pa napapanood. Rewatch it.
Anime?
Favorite.
Ang favorite
old
ko,
school.
Ay, sino ba sabi?
Ano favorite mo?
Ako ba?
Oh.
Favorite ko, Naruto. Since
Naruto.
bata ako nanonood ng Naruto, tapos nung lumaki ako, bumibili ako ng merchandise sa Naruto. Nagsusot pa ako ng Akatsuki cloak sa labas namin. Kasi sobrang fan ng Naruto.
Naglalakad ka bago mag-training yun.
Pero sa sa room lang namin.
Okay.
Parang for fun lang.
Alright.
Sir
We have a
Joebert.
winner.
Okay, sige.
Sige.
Sir Joebert. Sige, Sir Joebert,
ba?
go. Yeah. Favorite
Ako,
anime.
siguro pinaka siguro tumatak sa ulo ko yung kasi nung siguro grade school tuwing madaling araw may pinapalabas lagi siguro mga 5:30 to Chinese channel. So may dalawang laging anime na pinapalabas siguro from 5:30 to 6 and then 6 to 6:30. One is Feast of the North Star. So Hokuto no Ken. So yun.
Okay.
Yun yung ano. Tapos ang sunod niya, Saint Seiya. So yung dalawa
Saint
yung
Seiya.
ano. So yung dalawa yung ano to the point na parang yung
5:30
dati
in the morning,
pinapanood ko Chinese translation tapos siguro na ano ko na intriga ko kasi syempre gusto ko kasi naano ko lang mga sequence pero gusto ko intindihin. So yun, so pinanood ko yung ano yung mga 8 yung ano from yung first series ng dalawa. So yun yung for me.
Wow.
Yung
Alright,
dalawa.
so we have
Okay.
a winner. We have a
Sino?
winner
Yep.
for
Ang winner natin.
question. Ano muna yung tamang sagot?
Kimochi.
Yeah.
Three eyes.
Kimochi.
Kimochi.
With three eyes.
Sino kaya natin
Kasi
kaya yung question para sa
with feelings din kasi. That's what it makes it ano kasi. Yeah, so it's Team Kimochi and then the winner is Mr. Joshua Oliver Gamba. Yay!
Yay!
Oh, referee. Oh, Luto.
Oh,
Oh, Josh.
kasi siya-
Luto. Alam niya spelling.
Yeah, so you just won a Logitech G102 gaming mouse. Yeah.
Wow, nice.
Wow.
Congrats.
Congrats. All right. So
you-
for the next question, dahil you skipped on number 2, and
Sorry.
the one, I will be the one,
Sorry.
my honor to actually ano to. What was Jude's favorite race in StarCraft?
Na pinag-usapan natin.
Oo nga.
And yung third question
Oh,
natin.
nandun yun sa tok-tok kanina. Kaya
Oh.
nanonood talaga kayo.
Clue na sa inyo. Teran ako. So hindi yon.
Oo.
Undead,
Ako,
undead.
sorry.
Yun na. Yan na. Nagyan talang clue na.
Actually, hindi. So, like, tatanong nga, since we're talking about StarCraft and we're checking on this. So, nagzo-Zerg rush ka madalas or hindi?
No, don't compare me with those people. ang true mark ng good Zerg players is they prefer the long game. Kasi they just madami parang silang ipis at saka langgam na nagpapadami.
Correct,
So,
correct.
pag magaling ka, ang dami mong units nakakabaliw. Pero yung mga nagmamadali at mga walang skill, they just Zerg rush kasi yun lang alam nila.
Okay.
Mm.
Ayun, binigay ko na yung sagot
Pro tip.
ha. Binigay ko na yung sagot. Pag nagkamali pa yan, ako ko na lang.
Yan, we have a winner na.
Mukhang meron naman na. Yeah. There's
So,
a-
the winner, sige nga, ang answer is Zerg.
Yes.
Ang pinaka-ayawan kong team kasi lagi akong nirarush.
Ang nanalo ay si...
Kasi ako nagdi-depo defense kasi ako sa StarCraft kasi pagkaran ako. So pagka hindi ko nagawa kagad yung depo defense, nararush ako, na ano ako, chugi ako.
Oo.
Yung gusto ko sa StarCraft pag di mo lang ginagawa, patay ka kagad.
Oo.
Seryoso, 2 minutes yun din.
Pag big game hunters, tapos susukat-sukatin mo pag di mo kabisado yung sukat ng depo defense, may lusot. So,
UD.
yeah. Alright, so the winner is Glyza and
Yay! Congrats! Congratulations! Bigyan ng mouse yan!
So for our last question.
Okay.
Last question.
Ito na. What game pro scene does Cedric play at?
Yan. Bawal ang abbreviation.
Oo.
Oo, bawal ang-
Heading dapat.
Complete,
Dapat
proper
kumpleto.
capitalization. Yan.
Pati capitalization. Okay, sige.
Pati capitalization.
Napano ko dun na. Pati capitalization.
Talo
Talo ko.
Oh my God, may nag-comment Lotus Clan. Ano nga bang game yun?
Battle Realms.
Battle Realms. Oh my God.
Meron na sa Steam, right? Meron na sa Steam. No?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, meron na.
think so.
Tama.
Pwede na.
I have to
Ay,
get
masaya din yan, ha?
Pero
It's really fun.
Call of Duty players, hi.
Mobile yan, mobile. Tapos
Oo, mobile ako, tapos
Warzone.
Sila,
Warzone.
Valorant. Dragoness, Pips,
Yeah.
hi guys. Alam ko nanonood kayo dyan.
so guys, we'll
Dragonist
drop
guy.
our teka nga, can you put in your IDs? I will put in
Game
mine.
game po yung hinahanap namin, hindi mo.
Okay, I guess I'll put yung sa Valorant.
Pa-add sa Valorant din.
Okay.
Ito yung, ang ganda kaya ng ID ko sa Valorant.
Tama ba yung sagot na yon? Yung sa question na nilagay namin sa private chat? Tama ba yun?
Tama.
Tama, di ba?
Oo.
Ah.
Oo.
Yan yung pro scene mo talaga.
Yeah.
Yan. So, madali na lang po yan. Pagka
Yan yung ID ko sa Valorant. It's so amazing. It's RR Judes 69420.
69.
Oh, wow.
Pero I've played Valorant, no. I'm not saying na hindi yun nga lang talagang hindi ko lang siya feel pa sa ngayon. Probably. Parang
No, it's super fine. Like, honestly, I play it to relax.
Mhm.
Kasi hindi ako super competitive. Like, just for fun.
Exactly.
Right?
May nakatama na sa
Nakatama na ba?
May nakatama na ba?
Antayin natin si Kowa sa paglagay ng ating winner.
Parang,
Meron na nga. Meron na siya.
meron na ba?
meron.
Meron na. Alright. So, talaga nagpalit siya ng name, kaya pala siya lumabas. Next time, Zet, bigyan mo kami ng warning, ha? Bigla ka na nawala. So,
Pwede naman dito.
ang answer,
Sorry. Wala. Napindot ko yung Leave Studio.
so the correct answer for that question is League of Legends. And
Yes.
winner for that is, sige nga, Alan.
Uy, kapangalan mo. Michael Columna.
Ako yan, actually, para yung isang prize, hindi ko na yan.
Nandyan na agad.
Nandiyan na agad.
Michael Columna. Yes, congratulations.
Congratulations.
Congrats sa'yo.
Yan.
So, ayun na nga.
Congrats.
Congrats sa mga nanalo, sa 4 na nanalo ng
Oo.
mouse.
Okay.
Yan.
So,
So, I guess we'll give the opportunity for our guests. No,
Mhm.
Go ahead, Zed.
any final messages like for people who are aspiring to go to like organizing events
For
and
professional.
going pro? I can't see myself.
Bakit siya ganun? Natakpan siya ng message. Okay.
Bukas ka kasi. Ayan.
Mas maayos. Joke lang. Pero do you guys have any final messages for people like, especially since esports is a big thing now? I know there are a lot of people who are really eyeing on getting to professional teams or whatever. So what advice can you give to them? So maybe we start with Sir Joebert, like in organizing events.
Sa teams or sa events? I just lang.
I think events kasi mas
Huwag mo nagagaling yung advice para walang competition.
Hindi. Siguro lagi ko siguro sinasabi sa mga na if ever you're first timer or don't try to think about the profit siguro. Na parang try to build a relationship first. Na tipong kasi if you're sa totoo lang, if you're just here for the money or then I would say you're better off doing something else talaga kasi and this is not just not just only for organizing. I would say also the same thing for teams mga when you start, parang don't expect to win or I mean don't expect to get yung parang the money kasi it's parang mahirap kasi yung mindset pag ganun na yun lang parang build your relationship first through sponsors, through the people, through the different brands, and then yun always try to parang reasonable or parang yun lang that's for me is the best I can come up with for now. Yeah, just don't think about the earnings yet. Go with the relationships. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next.
Thank you. How about kay Judes?
Okay. For me, I think it's one of the least sent out message there. is that if you want to go into esports, do something else muna, like finish a degree or try to graduate. Hindi lahat ng bagay sa esports ay professional teams. And honestly, we 100% need more people who like work at the back end. We need more project managers. We need social media managers. We need artists and all that stuff. The industry is super big na ngayon, and we need more people to help us create esports and the whole show, right? So if you want to go into it, think about your career first. But if you want to like be an athlete, yeah, give yourself some time. Give yourself a deadline that you can get into. Pero please, we need more people. Need more teams that are very capable. And yeah, that's it. If you are interested, just hit us up. And then hopefully we can get you a job in esports. Oh, diba? Right?
Wow. Kung nga gusto
So,
ko para sa esports eh.
pwede na po ba mag-apply?
Yeah.
Ang
Okay.
sinong next na mag-ano?
Si
Rafael.
Yeah. So I think for aspiring players, finish school, value your education for sure. I think that's first, and just like being like a varsity player, student athlete, balance it out with school because that's like, that's very important. But like practical advice I would give is imitate what the pros are doing until you reach like the upper 0.1% of the player base. Until you reach those high ranks, imitate. And then you can start to innovate and create your own personal stuff. That's for players. For coaches, I think coaching is very subjective. Like it's wide, like how you coach. I think a lot of coaching has to do with like your personal, like, there's like individuality part of coaching. So my biggest advice would be is to keep an open mind and meet in the middle with your players because it's not all about you, nor is it all about your players. You have to find some sort of middle ground for everything in the game.
yeah, yes.
All right.
Okay.
Then innovate.
You said, to Cedric, na. Okay.
Okay. So, yung ma-advise ko lang sa mga gusto mag-pro player is, number one is, alagaan nyo yung sarili nyo. Huwag nyo pabayaan yung health nyo katulad ng ginawa ko na naglalaro ko ng matagal. Tapos, hindi ko na alam yung nangyayari. Ayun yung parang biggest mistake na nangyayari sa pagpo-pro ko. Pero natutunan ko naman. Number two is, dapat may tiwala ka sa kampi mo kahit anong mangyari. Kasi, ba't kayo naging magkakampi kung wala kayong tiwala sa isa't isa? Kaya dapat lagi kayo magbibigay ng tiwala sa kampi nyo. Then, last is, lagi mag-insert ng effort. Kasi sa pro team kasi, iba yan sa una nakasanayan eh. Parang higher level siya ng nakasanayan natin kung sakali man. So, dapat lagi nag-insert ng effort. Pero, wag nyo i-push dun sa dumating sa point na kailangan nyo mag-sacrifice para lang ma-insert yung effort na yun. Kasi wala naman dapat sacrifice eh. Kaya namang i-balance, depende sa inyo eh. Parang nasa inyo na lang yung yung management ng mga mangyayari sa'yo eh. Parang control mo naman lahat eh. Wala namang magdidikta sa'yo. Ayun lang. Parang sarili niya yung magdidikta kung ano yung mangyayari.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Nice.
siguro,
Thank
i-add ko na rin, I think everyone, our guests would agree at the end of the day, when you guys are playing, just enjoy it as well.
Yes.
Enjoy.
Yeah. Yes.
Enjoy the game.
Enjoy the game. Yeah, that's a crucial part of being a gamer.
That's the core of it.
Yes, exactly.
Don't play game if you don't enjoy it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Alan,
So, yeah. Okay.
the way
A reminder lang dun sa mga a reminder for us from Anime Alliance Philippines, because of the new quarantine situation in place within Metro Manila, alam naman natin, di ba, pandemic ngayon and all, we may experience some delay in delivering your items. So, rest assured that we are committed to bringing your prices to your doorstep naman. Gusto niyo sasayaw-sayaw pa eh. Kunya, ito
Yung
na po,
iba,
sasayaw,
personally, sabi pag deliver kapag
so may
within our
delays
area.
we're having some delays right now, pero we're working our process into it. And
Yep.
so that
Yep. So, I guess that's it, guys. But it's all the time that we have for tonight's episode, and we've enjoyed for 2 hours and 20 minutes. It's a long episode, but I
It's a
hope
long
you guys
episode.
have
Mm.
enjoyed this episode. And
Mm.
thank you to our guests and my awesome co-hosts, Michael and Alan. Any messages from you guys?
Promote ka, Alan. Yan.
Ah, okay nga pala. Huwag niyo kalimutan, guys. This is Tyrus Day, your Dragon streamer. Don't
Nice.
forget. Do follow me at fb.gg/TyrusDay00. Don't forget to subscribe. Follow me on Twitch and also Instagram. If you wanna add me on game, any game basta nalalaro, kaya kong laruin within my PC na hindi sasabog. Ang IGN ko lagi is Tyrus Day. Hindi yan naiiba. So, yun guys. Thank you.
I'd like to thank Dr. Vicky Bello for my
Oh, wow.
Joke
May
lang.
pahabol ako isa.
Ano pa?
Huwag niyo kalimutan i-follow si OGG Sadako sa Twitch. Twitch.tv/OGG Sadako. Yan.
Yung nanalo kanina sa isang game natin.
Oo, yun nanalo sa isang game.
Ano ka pa?
Thank you, Elana Mineral Cosmetics, for my makeup.
Wow,
And
wow.
guys, follow nyo. Let's be friends on COD Mobile.
Yan.
Still playing.
Let's see ako
Yeah.
yung promote.
Thank you, Elana.
Alright, catch us again next time. I mean next week, same time, same place for another episode of TOYCON TV. So I hope you guys enjoyed the episode for tonight. Thank you to our awesome guests, as Lizette said, and I guess we'll see you guys until then.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
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 Bye. Bye. Bye.
Bye.